Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever I'm reaching you in the world. I would like to say, what a weekend, huh? What a weekend. A lot of good stuff happened, a lot of unfortunate bad stuff happened, but all the same, we're still here. We're still fighting and making the effort. So I have Brian here that's going to help me out with the review today. How you doing, Brian?
Very well, man. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. I was speaking to you backstage, saying how I'm a little tired from the weekend. A lot of festivities, a lot of the early kickoffs, and the line of work I'm in, or one of the lines of work I'm in at least, is like not an easy lifestyle to live, but we're all the
No,
same. It's good.
this weekend had it all. We had wins for Liverpool. We had City dropping points. We had terrible Panenka penalties. JK winning the Anfield inaugural cup, the
Yes,
12th
yes,
man cup, coming
yes.
back to shock the Death Star.
Yeah, yeah. And
You
on top of
know,
that, you had your crystal ball moment in the sense too.
but I don't think Chris will ever forget that Kyle Walker penalty.
That was just what a
Highlighted
time.
the weekend. Highlighted the weekend.
Yeah. I don't know. Kyle Walker thought he's Fabinho for a second and was just like, oh, I could do that. No, you can't. I guess. Oh man, that was a great time though. It was fun. That was a really fun little series that we did. I think it's gonna be really fun how we like are gonna refine some of the rough edges and maybe even like incorporate different versions or different tactics to kind of like make it even more intriguing. It's gonna be a lot of fun, definitely.
Yeah, it is. The next one should be even smoother and better and more interesting because it'll be
Yeah,
a lot more different players as well.
yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So I had some stuff that I took on, like, so obviously my habit of watching games over, especially when we're going to be doing these reviews and such. I want to make sure that I at least have some of these the points down, or like at least have some of the ideas and concepts of what we were trying to do in the game, so that I can really give a valued take on it. What were some of your early takes, like as in going into this game? What were some of your early takes in going to this game? Um were you nervous, or were you more so confident that we could go into a grounds that we've never won at too? That was something that was surprising. I never knew that we had never won at Brentford, but
Yeah, I didn't have many nerves. Like I called a 4-1, first time I've
right,
ever
right,
gotten a
right.
scoreline, right? So I had that kind of feeling that we were in good goal scoring form, and yeah, they're a team that a lot of people do flag up, and we got a bad record there, but they're a team that I think sort of always give you a good enough chance to win because of the way they play.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're not around long enough, and they haven't done enough for me to actually kind of start worrying about them or be scared about them.
Right.
Our record against them wouldn't really worry me. You know, they're not a bogey team. We haven't had loads of bad results. I just see them as a team that plays fairly attacking football, which those teams always suit us. You know, teams that come out and play against us, that's usually what we need them to do before to break them down. So I kind of look forward to playing teams like Brentford. I would never be nervous even going there because you're not going to keep losing. Eventually, you're going to win there. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, that just kind of what I'm coming away from it. But it's all the other stuff kind of totally overtook it. Like like we'll talk about, like all the other things that happened in the game have kind of not made the result irrelevant, but kind of made you forget about it because it's just like, oh hell, but we've got all this crap to deal with now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was, yeah, the sheer fact. All right, let's just get into this. That's a good segue, I guess, because like I was going to maybe hold off on a little bit, but I think it's a good segue into it. And that was, okay, I understand that I definitely understand the Prem. You have injuries. You're going to get injuries and everything and such. It's a rough and tough league that they tend to play a little bit more physical and such. And you're going to get in if you have a physical type league, you're going to have obviously injuries that you have such as we did. But I'm just going to have to push back against some of the people that were saying that. Some of the people that were saying that, oh well, he didn't necessarily no guard or new guard. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Is it new
Oh,
guard?
that dude. Oh, Norgard.
Yeah.
The Brentford guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Brentford guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's the captain too, I believe, right? He's the captain.
I think, yeah, I'm not sure who they're
I'll double
normally.
check on that one. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
double check on whether he's the captain or not. But he it wasn't as bad or as blatant to me as the Partey foul on Diaz the year that he ended up basically just
crunch them.
WWE style taking him out and landing on his knee. But I think that the referee has some. It's going to sound somewhat harsh, but I think the referee has some impact or some not impact, some responsibility in the fact that we had so many injuries yesterday, and especially to Diego as well, primarily because there was a concerted effort, in my opinion, of Brentford not only being physical with us, but also trying to make it overly physical with us, I think. And they weren't necessarily, if a referee doesn't call the game, I understand you want to let play go on, you want to let play flow, but if a referee doesn't call those kinds of fouls or make a point to say, hey, cut this shenanigans out or cut the extra BS out unless it's play football, you're going to get fouls, you're going to get injuries like that. It's just that simple to me, I think. And I thought that he put a little extra in the fact of he, you could be you're mindful of another player, especially when you're playing against in football that way. It's not like I'm not saying he intentionally went into his leg or tried to land on his leg, but he kind of went with a little bit of more emphasis to try to be like, I'm going to give you a little bit of a knock to make you remember, hey, I want you to stay down. That's in my opinion. What was your take?
Yeah, they did play pretty rough, and like you're saying, when the referee kind of sets the tone at a certain point, there's always a point where he can do something that leader hopefully kind of nip that in the bud, or else, like you say, just give a little bit more encouragement for players to think that they can go in a little bit harder. It's funny because that's not something I kind of think of when I think of Brentford, like them as being a kind of hard tackling team, or even a rough team, not saying dirty team, but even a kind of a rough team, but footballing team, strong in a good way. And maybe as well, like when you go out on the pitch and you've got you've got 20 people running around out there, things can kind of take on a bit of a life of their own. So you don't always know what's in a player's head when he goes in to tackle somebody. And yeah, because I'm agreeing with you, I don't think he's thinking, right, I'm going to hurt him now, I'm going to put him out of the game.
Right.
But if you are in a situation where, I suppose, even just a simple fact of maybe you might already be on a yellow card for an earlier challenge.
Right. That's my point. Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree with you that, like, he obviously, yeah, not that he caused those injuries, but that just by kind of allowing that to be the kind of game that it was, potentially something like that was always going to happen. I'd
Yep.
agree with that. He should have been more on it from the start.
Yep.
There was a couple that they looked worse than they were, but yeah,
Right.
I don't know. And it's like I said, it's weird. I just didn't expect that from Brentford. I really did. I didn't think they were going to be playing that kind of game. But whatever, maybe it's because of Liverpool. Maybe it's because they have that great record against us. But I think, yeah, it went to their heads a little bit. Definitely the referee could have put a bit of a tighter rein on it.
Yeah. That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for instance, there was a play in the first half. I noted it here on my notes at least. But there was a play in the first half where we had a corner, and it should have been a penalty in my opinion, to be honest with you. I know that some people might say, "Oh, like it's just two guys tussling in the penalty box," but again, Diego was involved with it because Diego had a lot of incidents like that with other Brentford players, and I think Brentford was mindful of the patch or the run that Diego was on, and mindful of the fact that he could credibly hurt them with the way that he's been playing. But in that cross or in the corner, I believe it was the first corner went. I want to say the first corner went, and then we ended up getting a second corner out of it as well. But Diego got physically tackled, I'm talking about American football style tackled in the box, and they didn't call a penalty. The commentators, I heard actually I want to say it was the Sky commentator or whoever was doing the commentator ship on your side of the pond. I heard them say something like, "I don't understand how that's not a foul," basically.
Those things happen a lot, man, and they just won't call them because they don't have the balls to call them because they can't stop it. Some players just do it almost kind of by instinct, and the refs, it's just like that thing that they used to do with holding in the box. They tried to ban it and they tried it for about 2 games, and they realized we're going to be given 10 penalties a game. So they just let it go.
If they did do that, hypothetically, I don't mean to step on your toes. I was just going to say, if they did do that, and because I want your opinion, if they did do that, wouldn't you then say the same comments that we were saying earlier about you set the tone? So if you're going to continue, it's like, tread if you dare type concept of like, okay, well, if you want to continue to hold and you want to continue to grab and do things that are illegal, they are against the rules, okay? Then you're going to get penalized for it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when the cops see somebody dropping litter on the street, technically they could go over and,
right,
say something but it's just like if they were going to do that with everybody that was dropping litter on the street, they'd never catch any real crime. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because they just realize this players are just stupid. Players are not going to stop doing this. Mm-hmm. And it'll ruin the game by giving a penalty every time. So look, they're just saying, look, just let it go. Unless it's like really blatant, like a really horrible one, especially if it's someone who isn't, like, the ball doesn't go to.
Mm-hmm.
They're just saying, look, this is just part of it. Yeah, it's something that isn't right technically, but this is just one of those things. This is just what happened.
Yeah, it's KJSJ and Red for Life are bringing out the fact that, and I will admit this too, Robbo got away with possibly a pen in the box. That could have been.
That was a penalty. That was 100% a penalty. As soon as I saw the first replay, I was like, oh, they're getting that.
Yeah.
I think
because he had let those other penalties possibly go, I think that's why that gets not called, possibly.
You'd hope not. You want them like the VAR. That's what that's there for.
No, I get it. It went to VAR. It did go to VAR.
As soon as I saw the replay, I thought, no, he's not getting away with that. So we got lucky on one.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Diaz one. The Diaz one where he got clipped on the ankle.
The Diaz one was a foul too, though. I mean, it was a foul. I mean, it's a questionable. It might be soft. It might even be to the point where, okay, maybe you let that one go, because I don't know if it was like so harsh that it had to take him down type thing, but it was a foul.
Yeah, I think the problem he might have over-exaggerated the fall a bit.
Yeah,
but there was definite contact. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it again, they got away with one, we got away with one. I can take that in football. I know some people can't, but I can. I can take that.
And that's why I can say that's why I can go, oh, well, yes, we didn't. They didn't give the Robbo one, but they didn't give. They also didn't give the Diaz one, for instance. That's why I'm like, okay, it's a little bit of a wash. I'll live with that.
Yeah, like if you can't move on from stuff like that and just put it in the well, that's just football drawer, then you're going to be talking about games that were 5 years old. You just need to just
Yeah,
go, bloody refs or whatever, and then just put it to bed. Forget about it because it's gone now. You can't change it. It's done. And yeah,
right.
refs are gonna make these kind of decisions. It's part of football. I've learned to live with it a long time ago. Because just for your own sake, like I said, because otherwise you'd just be stressing about games that happened 5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
KJ thinks
I
the
don't know.
Diaz one was a dive.
I know. I don't know if that was a dive. I mean, like if you
I
see it,
think he
man,
took the. I think he
he got
took the
clipped.
contact. I think he took the contact and
Right.
just kind of. But I don't think like a dive is no contact.
Yeah, but you know what too though? A dive is, yes, you're spot on. Is no contact. That's a dive. I also will admit again. This is why I'm saying I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I need to apply for the lead gig for PGMOL or something. But why I was going to say this is that, like, I get that could be in KJ's mind or in his view that's a dive. However, I agree with what you said. One, if he had no contact, it'd be a dive. What we saw with Chilwell, right, in the Chelsea game, that was a dive, for instance. Okay, and he got a
Oh
card for it,
yeah, and
and he
one of
right back
our
in front.
guys in the last game, even I can't remember, but one of our lads dived, clear dive, about a game and a half ago, something in the
Okay,
last couple of games. Anyway, like even our play, like we're not bad,
right.
but yeah, like I've seen, I think Jota do it, like
Yeah,
no
no, and
contact.
Jota's, yeah, Diego. I mean, I've
You
heard
know?
rival fans say exactly what you're saying right now. Is that Diego is a diver and this blah blah blah, because he makes real dramatic like falls out of it and something. But
Yeah,
the
we had
sad
Luis
thing about
Suarez
it,
for God's
what's that?
sake. We had Luis Suarez for God's
Yeah.
sake.
Oh yeah. Oh, he was
Come
horrible.
on,
He was horrible
come
with that
on.
stuff. But what I was gonna say is that why I was if I was on my running my campaign running speech or running campaign speech for the gig would be the simple fact that a player shouldn't have to do that kind of dramatics to get the call, especially now that we have VAR. You don't necessarily have to go through the dramatics of doing that to get the call. However, because referees don't see everything, obviously, and also because referees tend to not even like the Robbo call, like the Diaz call, unless you go over dramatically, they're probably not even looking at it. They're probably not even considering it. They'll just let it play on.
Yeah,
And then sometimes, like with Mo Salah, sometimes I've seen Mo Salah not go to ground, especially since he was being called a diver early or in some portions of his career. But he'll not go to ground even though he could have, and it'll end up being like a bad attempt, or it ends up he loses the ball or something like that. But because he didn't go to ground, he didn't get the call, and it's one of those things like it's a catch-22. Do you
yeah.
like do the dramatics and take the chance? Like, I, and again, this isn't. I don't want to make it into a referee thing right now or anything. We won 4-1. I'll freeze up a little bit there. We won 4-1, and I'm over the moon about the fact that we won, but I'm more so cognitive of the fact that because you have to do so many different angles to get calls, so many different angles to like, or that's allowed to be not calls. It's a messy exchange. That's my point.
Oh, definitely. Look, the plan, like the idea that the players shouldn't have to go down to get the call is the perfect world. That's what they all want.
Mhm.
But you go anywhere now behind the scenes, they'll tell you, look, if you feel that knock, you go over because they won't give you
Right,
the pen.
right,
They won't give you the pen if you don't go down. You have to make them.
right.
They call it giving the ref a decision to make. They call it,
Mhm.
making his mind up for him. Whatever, and you see players that get kicked and fouled and they don't go over, and so the ball, say they're in the box and the ball will trickle away from them over the
Right.
line or it'll make them kick it all wrong and go off in a skewed angle, or they just lose control of it. And it's because they've been fouled, but they managed to keep their balance because they're a good athlete. And you can see them looking at the ref, so they're been kind of punished for their athleticism by, being kicked at pace and being able to keep their balance and still having to look at the ref and go, surely you can see I was fouled. So most of the times the ref, because they don't want those decisions to make, they don't want to have to give penalty. They're just going to go, oh, no, you whatever. So they turn around and say, right, next time I'm going down. But it's just as simple as that. I'm going down next time because you're not going to give it to me. The managers will say, and you've seen, I've heard dozens and dozens of ex-strikers who will watch that Salah situation or watch a younger player, and they'll be saying, well done, the young kid. Props to that young kid for staying on his feet. But when he gets back in that dressing room, he's getting yelled at.
Yeah.
His striker, he said, his striker is going to be right up in his face. The next time that happens to you, you go right down. You were fouled, you go down.
You go down. And that's again why I'm saying the referees has somewhat set this stage or this playing field for them. For the only way you're going to get a ball is if you make dramatics, you go down like you got shot from the stands. That's the only way you're going to get a call. Or and then when you do go and end up getting tackled the way you do, you chance getting injured. You get chance trying, you could chance getting injured or something like. It's a real catch-22, and I think that the referees have to take a little bit more accountability for it.
Yeah, if you don't, kind of almost do his job for him, and then they get criticized. But I don't think diving is as bad as it used to be.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
it's kind of calmed down a bit. We don't have the kind of things we used to have.
Mm-hmm.
The players we used to have. All the cameras and stuff now, you can be seen. Everything you do can be clipped up and shown on Twitter and so if you do something,
right,
you're going
to get a reputation too of being that person too.
Yeah, it's
it goes with you. It does go with you.
Well, I think one of the greatest kind of pieces of PR genius that was ever committed in the Premier League was Jurgen Klinsmann, who was, when he was signed by Tottenham Hotspur, he's a German striker, German legend. Germans were, not very popular in England, as you can imagine. Back then, it was still a bit of a thing, especially with the tabloid press. They were the old enemy, as it was. But he was famous for being a continental diver. He was famous for diving, and that was his whole.
I'll have to bring that up if I run into him again. I'll have to bring that up. But
that was his whole reputation. You know what I mean? And when he went to Spurs, he absolutely lit up the Premier League at Spurs. He won Player of the Season, I think. He stayed there for 1 year. But in his first game or his second game, he scored his first goal, and the celebration was to do this massive big dive into the corner and slide across the thing and just laughing his head off. And instantly, everybody fell in love with him. Instantly. Right. He was an immediate cult hero because everyone knew what he was doing. Yeah. Everyone knew what the celebration was. And I think he scored like 25, 26 goals, something like that for them. He was just unbelievable. Yeah. Maybe not that many, but call it around 20. Player of the season, all that. And but just straight away, he just kind of turned the diver accusations on their head by just being brilliant and making a joke out of it straight away. It was... Yeah. But it goes back that long. Like that's when the kind of diving disease was supposed to have come in. But I don't think that it's nowhere near as bad. Not like as the ex-pros will make you think that the game is full of divers and cheats. They were those ex-pros, man. The stuff they used to do on the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Kicking people and stamping on them and all that, and they're acting like these guys are criminals because they. Oh, come on! They got away with it. They got away with much worse stuff. They never talk about that.
Yeah. Okay, so I am going to utilize actually a comment by Red for Life, actually, and also Redbird comment as well. But Red for Life's comment, which was this, he asked a question. He says, Did you guys read Michael Owen's comments on Nunez? If so, what are your thoughts? And I'll just include Redbird's thoughts real quick. He says, Michael Owen, his comments were ludicrous. Never forget he's a traitor who played for United. It's very difficult to ever forget that, I think, by a lot of people, because they certainly bring it up every time you say Michael Owen. Considering Michael Owen was, when I started watching this club, Michael Owen was my favorite player. One of the reasons why I started and did enjoy watching the Reds, or why one of the main reasons why I tuned in to watch the Reds was to see him play. But I saw that. Look, Darwin, 4 goals in 5 games.
Can you?
Did you not hear the comment? Did you not hear? Let me see. I can look it up for you real quick, because I don't want to misquote him. But basically, the gist of what he said was that, like, the goal that he took was a cheeky style goal, and in essence, and like he needs to seriously get control of his he needs to seriously get control of, like, his presence on the field enough to know when to do certain shots and everything else. He said, let me pull this up, because I don't want to misquote him, but the comment was just like, it was a silly comment, it was just silly. He's like, all right, so it's about Michael Owen questions Darwin's his thinking of how, like, he's basically saying, how dare Nunez think that he could chip that shot, to dink that shot over him at that time in a 0-0, in a 0-0 game. And, for him, he's like, he should have probably, like, tried to go around him, or he try to do something of a different, more like.
Owen goes around him, yeah. Owen goes around him all day long.
Yeah. That's what he's basically saying. Let me pull up. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick, and I'll tell the exact comment. Or maybe someone from the chat already gave us like a little bit more rundown on it.
I know what I can probably.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
Oh no! I was gonna say. I was gonna read you the quote. Basically, it says Michael Owen claims Darwin Nunez's insane chip against Brentford is proof he needs to adapt his way of thinking to become a great striker, but admits the goal was pure class.
Okay, so that's fair.
Let's see. Yeah, let me see. I'll even get the exact quote for you here.
Oh yeah, the quote is all I'm interested in, really, not the fluff the paper puts around. I know what the guy say.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the entire quote, guys. Everyone in the chat too. He says, "I can't stop watching it, and I can't begin to explain how difficult a shot that is. Moving at pace, the ball running around, the ball running away from you, being inside the box with no room for error. Incredible, but it is also further proof that if he is to get closer to becoming the great player many think he can be, he has to adapt his way of thinking." He then goes on to add, this is a quote, to even consider that finish is madness. It's a 1 in 10, 2 in 10 finish at best. Learning to slot, dink, or go around the goalkeeper is a far more productive way to score and will increase his chances to 4 or 5 in 10, thus massively increasing his end return. I'm really not trying to rain on his parade, as the goal was pure class, but I'd rather see it when Liverpool are up, or 3-0 up, not at 0-0. That's the full quote from Michael Owen on what it is. On how he viewed the shot.
I can't see anything wrong.
You just can't win. You know what I mean? You just can't win.
I can't see anything wrong with what he said. because from a
Right.
technical, like if you from a technical coaching point of view, that's what a coach will tell you. That's that's a
Mm.
1 in 10. So if you're in a game and it's like listen to all the praise he gave him, listen to all the good stuff that he said. But what he's saying is,
Yeah.
and I agree with it. I agree. It's like he took the highest tariff shot. And what Owen is saying,
Yeah.
Owen's like a robot. He's a goal scoring robot. That's what he is. You have to remember that. He's one of the world's most boring people. All he thinks about is scoring goals. And he's saying,
Mm.
in a one-on-one like that, every time you go around the keeper, because that increases your chances by scoring by 5. Exactly. And everything else he also said amazing shot and amazing that. Like I think that's been kind of twisted a little bit, but like everything he said there is pretty much right. But what I would say is like he probably just, as a lot of things with Michael Owen, he probably just shouldn't have said.
Yeah.
There was no need to kind of come out and try and rain on the parade a little bit, like he said. But that's the
Yeah.
thing. Michael Owen
He
is
even
a
admitted it.
very
He even
he's
admitted
a
it
very
too.
yeah
Like he
he's
said.
a very
Yeah.
odd person. He's a very dull, odd person, Michael Owen. He really is. But
Right.
he's just thinking of it like from a goal scoring coaching point of view. It's just
Mm.
he didn't realize how much of a dick that's going to make him sound. But
Yeah.
that's what you should tell a kid in coaching. If you tell a kid,
Yeah.
okay, when you're one on one with the keeper now, what you need to do is chip him,
Yeah.
dink him from outside the box. That's what they're not going to tell you that. They say, no, you
Mm.
feint, throw a dummy, and you go round them, and you open the goal up for yourself, and then you'll score 5, 6 times out of 10.
Mm.
So but he's just talking like a coaching manual. He doesn't realize he sounds like a human coaching manual, and
Yeah. But
it's bad timing. It's just, but that's Michael Owen.
yeah. You
He's
got
a
to read the
moron.
room. Can't
Yeah,
you read the
exactly.
room?
No,
Like.
exactly. Michael Owen can't read a room. I'm telling you, the guy is on the spectrum. He
Yeah.
really like. He's the guy who said he doesn't watch movies because they're not real. Like that's his brain. That's how his brain works. He doesn't watch film. He was asked like, "What's your?" You know, they always do these question answers with footballers,
Mm-hmm.
and he was asked,
Mm-hmm.
"What's your favorite movies?" And he said, "I don't
Mm-hmm.
really watch films." And you don't watch films. You don't watch. He's like, "Nah, I don't like them. They're not real.
Mm.
So why would you watch
Yeah.
something that's not real?" He doesn't. He just doesn't get it. Like, wow, okay, you are weird.
Okay.
Like you're a really odd dude. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah,
it's
I mean, like
but
Red for Life has it. Red for Life was talking to Redbird, but the read his comment out. He says, "I think it was classless of him to question Darwin's mentality." He says he would praise Darwin for showing composure and confidence in himself and in his teammates. I mean, like, you don't get how, and I get that it was if you can say cheeky, it was a bold, choice of shot. I think on another broadcast you were talking about how the fact of I asked you what you were thinking when you saw Darwin one on one, and the first thing you said was basically when you saw him basically telegraph that he was going to be dinking this shot or trying to
yeah,
chip the shot over him. You know, that's when you got a little bit like um, uh,
nervous
hesitant, yeah,
because
nervous,
of
yeah,
what Owen said is because no matter what player you are, that immediately lowers your chances of it working.
yeah, yeah,
Even if you're a Pirlo, even if you're Haaland, even if you're Messi, as soon as you go for that thing, you're raising the difficulty tariff five
yeah,
times. So it
yeah,
was, and I said that it wasn't because it was Nunez, it was because of the finish he was attempting. But we all love it. Like you want to do
yeah,
that, you want to see that beautiful goal. And I think if you read the own quotes, he criticizes him a little bit at the end, yeah, but he also massively praises the goal and his ability and all of that stuff as well. So,
yeah,
like I said, it's just something he said the quiet part loud. He should have just left it at the praise bit and said something like, "Well, if it was me, I wouldn't have tried that. I probably wouldn't have had at 0-0, I probably would have thought not using it as a dig, but maybe just as a little kind of pointer." He said,
mm-hmm,
"If it was me, I would have gone around him."
mm-hmm.
But look at his most famous goal, the
Yeah,
Argentina goal. I mean, he goes over the keeper there,
yeah,
But I get what he's saying. At 0-0, you go for the most likely chance, but he's just been
You,
dull arse
you
scoring
do,
Michael Owen.
you do, but you know what's also something that I would be thinking, at least I would think, is in the mindset of Darwin. I'm probably, Darwin's thinking, I'm going to get 2, 3, 4 chances, to take shots. I get that you could possibly increase your odds by trying to go around him with his pace or trying to dribble and do whatever it was. And most likely, as a goalkeeper, if I was a goalkeeper in front of Nunez and I see him approaching, the first thing I'm thinking is he's going to try to go around me.
Yeah, but if he
I'm preparing myself to figure out which way he's going to go so I can try to beat him to the spot.
Yeah, but if he dummies
you, and that's why I think it was a bold choice, and it ended up paying off, but it was a bold choice for a shot that is probably the last shot that the goalkeeper is expecting, and that's why it's such a good.
Almost if you listen to what Owen is saying, I think the crux of what he's saying is being lost. He's saying, and this is a very old school thing, he's saying, I do it at 4-0, I wouldn't do it at 0-0. His main point was that it was at 0-0. He should just, it's not the time for, and that's a very old school way of looking at things. And I think that was kind of his main point, was that at that point in the game, go for the more likely scoring option. But look at all the praise he gave him for before as well, He massively praised everything he did. So I understand what Michael Owen was getting at. I'm just saying he definitely should have praised it differently or not put it out there. But that's what you're always getting. Yeah, if you put a microphone in front of Michael Owen and ask him questions, he's going to say weird stuff.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I don't watch him. See, he's on the channel. I don't even everyone hates me. See, but I never actually watched the guy. Never.
Yeah,
I'm always watching the other channels. And also one thing. The guy had 2 Premier League golden boots and a Ballon d'Or, right?
Yeah, he knows something about scoring.
By the time he was 21. By the time he was 21.
Let's not get it twisted. The guy knows something about scoring.
He is speaking from
he's a valid source.
Yeah, he's speaking from a position of strength.
Right.
So there's also that. It's just that he should.
No, he's gonna read the read. He's a poor reader of the room, I think. I mean, I agree with Redbird. I said this, I think, when you were talking, I think I said this as well. It was at least an option. But Red for Life says he'd have put money on Darwin to pass to Diego. But 12th man was right. He didn't, because he saw Diego was offsides, so he deserves credit for that too.
But what about the header? That header from Jota.
Sick.
That headed pass, man.
Could be the assist. Could be one of the top assists of the year, possibly.
From a ball coming from that distance, that height, one touch, headed pass, assist, unbelievable.
Yep. Over the shoulder ball. By the way, shout out to Zabiri. An over the shoulder ball, because I was told that we're one dimensional. The only way we can score is over the shoulder passes. But an over the shoulder pass that was a long ball that was absolutely incredibly put, and that was off a direct kick. Basically, it was a direct kick into our half, and then Virgil did an incredible clearance of the ball out to Diego for another quick counter off of a set piece, I guess, somewhat set piece, I guess, not necessarily a set piece, but a free kick, I say more so. And absolute incredible pass. I think every commentator I heard was how Diego was able to know where the ball was going to be able to head the ball directly into the path, perfectly into the path of Nunez. Definitely one of the top assists I've seen all year.
It's old school Liverpool, 3 touches back at the net.
Yep.
On a breakaway, on a counter from an opposition set piece. Flecken boots it down. Virgil sends it right back where it came from. 1 touch from Jota. That's old school Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's what we're good at. It's why I like playing attacking teams. It's why I'm less nervous when we play attacking teams. Good.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I agree with that. I'm more nervous when we have to, not necessarily nervous, but I would say my anxieties are a little bit higher, I would say, than when we had to play low block teams because obviously you're going to get a lot of shots, but you're going to have a lot of possession. But the shots and the chances aren't going to be the same types of chances that you get against an offensive minded team that you can catch on the counter and such. I agree with that completely. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I'd like to play teams like Brighton and Wolves and stuff like that every second week. Fulham, teams like they can't help but attack you because they're not set up for pure defense. Don't play City every week. But
is this true, Brian? Did Owen also say recently he was a better finisher than Robbie Fowler?
Well, if someone asked Michael Owen the question, who was a better finisher, you or Robbie, and I'm sure he's probably been asked that question 1,000 times in his life,
Absolutely.
at least.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if Michael Owen believes that he is. Like, that kind of sky-high, stratospheric level of self-confidence to believe he was a better finisher than Fowler is what got Michael Owen to where he was, along with his pace. That guy was just, at the age of 18, he thought he was the best. So I wouldn't be surprised if you asked him, and he probably thought, he's not going to sit there going, oh, what are you talking about? I'm a million, like Robbie Fowler couldn't even lace my boots. He's probably going to think, yeah, it was close, but
I don't know. I get you.
That's what Owen.
I'm not saying because Michael Owen. I'm just saying football players. Some football players are humble. Like Roger Van Dyke.
I'm talking about, no, Michael Owen isn't. This is what I'm saying. He ain't.
That's true. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, he's not. Like, I'm talking specifically about Michael Owen. He is not. I'm telling you, this guy is an android, man. He's a robot. Like. I think Fowler was. I mean, on their day, you're splitting hairs in how good they were, but Fowler was. Right. Fowler's more loved, you see. So, no one was
loved. I mean, like, would you say maybe like
if you look at their best, you look at Robbie.
Like, is he better than Rush? Is he better than Rush?
Oh man, no, they're like you're talking about three guys who will get 20 out of 20 for finishing up.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm stirring the pot. I'm stirring the pot for sure. Well,
no, I'd back any of them in a one-on-one. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'd have any, but Robbie could score. Maybe a little like Rush was more of a box finisher, poacher, off the shoulder, Inzaghi type of player. Owen was pace and all it. Like Fowler was a little bit more. He was slower. More, a little bit. He wasn't slow, but he could score. Maybe a little bit more. I don't know, man. God, that's a video. That's a video.
That's a video. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. We'll do that. We'll do like a history.
Big up to the crowd.
Throwback or something. Yeah. So I know yesterday was interesting again, getting on to the referees kind of decisions, because I know Trap Joe asked a question about Mo. I'm going to bring that up too. Despite the stats saying that this game was like, a hard fought game between both sides, we had 18 fouls called on us yesterday or on that game day.
Yeah.
They had 4. And out of the 4 calls that they had, 2 of them were yellow cards. So that's why I'm trying to go like, okay, I get it. If we're going to call fouls, cool. But apparently they didn't have a problem calling fouls on us with 18 fouls called. But for them to have 4 fouls in the entire game and 2 of them be yellow cards, that's not balanced.
No, it's very low. Very low.
There's no way you could tell me that Liverpool had 18 fouls in that game and Brentford only had 4. That does not compute.
No, that doesn't sound right at all.
Yeah.
I saw at least 6, so I don't know what game I was watching.
Yeah, exactly. So also a notable stat in that game was we had 6 big chances on Saturday. They only had 3. Both teams missed 2 of their chances. And we had 15 shots for us, and they had 8 shots. 6 on target. And what was another good stat? Oh, you know what? We had 63% of the ball yesterday. That was really good to see. I like Jurgen's devotion to the possession game. You know, like obviously you have the ball, chances are team's not going to be able to score. You got to have the ball to score. You know, so 63% possession. We had they had 1.69 xg, and we had 2.82 xg for. I know some people aren't really into the xg stat as well, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty high for them. That's a decent number in any game.
Yeah,
1.6. So it just shows you there were openings, but I never felt under pressure in the game. I never felt like maybe the injuries and all of the changes, as much as it's not good for us, but when he's got a kind of a lineup that he's looking at, and then all of a sudden he's playing by half time. By the second half, he's playing basically a completely different setup with Gakpo and Salah in there. They're having to adjust to that, so that can be detrimental to the other team as well. But as soon as Salah came on, that was kind of game over. I thought straight away, but looks like
yeah.
I thought he looks like he's 100% back. I kind of probably shouldn't have
I
spoken so
thought
soon.
I thought the Maka goal, okay, was the hey, this game we're going to be able to maintain and get through this game. And you know what? Let's see, we're at halftime right now, so let's get into some of these ratings actually, if you don't mind, because you know
Just one quick question from
yeah,
Rasta Crab.
yeah,
Rasta asking, do we still think we can beat Chelsea with these injuries?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me pull it up here. It says hi, questions for you guys. Are you still confident we can beat Chelsea with our injury situation? I am. So I am going to do a preview for the Luton game, and I'm also going to do hopefully a preview for the Chelsea game. Just depends on what time it is in the morning for me to watch that game. But it all depends on. I think you'll have a better confident evaluation of where we stand after Luton travels to Anfield. I get that people might say, oh, it's just Luton. Look, Luton are a legit team, despite the fact that they're they're like, bordering on the line of relegation. I still give a lot of credit to the T-Boys. And I think we're going to get a good read of what we have to work with out of. And again, this is what in the preview or in the description for this, I said I was going to mention someone who I think is the player that we need to, a player that needs to have his emergence as excuse me, as being a cult hero. Let me have a little sip of my Guinness here.
It's a 3 p.m. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff in the UK. So
okay,
whatever that is for you guys.
Yeah, that's gonna be hella early still. That's gonna be like 8 a.m. or something, 8:30 or something, 8:30 in the morning. So I could probably still do it. But all the same, the person I was talking about that I want to see an emergence from, someone that I am backing, someone that I'm going to be, you know how I like to do, like I like to be the first to fully.
Not Thiago, is it? Not Thiago.
Oh, Brian. No, it's not Thiago. I was going to say Agent Cody is someone that I hope and really would like to see have his emergence as a cult hero for this club so that he can press on to higher ratings,
Well, for a long time now, the last 3 games, it's been Gakpo and Gravenberch have been our bench changer, game changer players.
Yeah. Yes.
It was always them two that were coming on, but now they're both going to be starting. Now they're both going to have to, and I think this could be really good for Cody. Bad times for other players, but I think he might get an opportunity to start in the number 9 because I don't see anyone else that can do it there. And I'm with you. I think he's got great finishing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be, this could be a big opportunity. Look at him. He comes on, gets a goal and an assist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think he's got the potential now to
it's his moment.
Everyone
has these moments. Life is full of moments, and it's about what you make of those moments. This is his moment to step on, as he's been having difficulty trying to get his way back into a pretty much, because for a while he was a starter. It just so happens that, especially when we brought him in, he was getting starting roles, he was getting starting positions and everything else. And there was an argument to say he could start maybe at left wing, if not at striker, especially when Nunez was trying to find his footing.
Yeah, when Nunez was not firing, but that's taking his spot now. Yeah,
but Nunez is on another level now. Yeah,
it's the spot. It's where is his spot? Like Diaz comes in, you've lost your left hand spot. Nunez comes in, you've lost your striker spot. Salah plays no right hand spot. So he was even trying to shoehorn him into midfield. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Midfield just to get the guy on the pitch.
Right.
It's
right. Vigo's got it right, man. He says this is his 8 Mile moment. And Rasta Crab said, if you had one shot. Big up to Eminem, right? Oh man. I can't have and notably another player that you mentioned.
Don't get injured against Luton. Can we just say that? Don't get injured against Luton.
Let's just knock on wood. I don't even want to put that in the universe, man. I was going to say this. I was going to say another player that is going to get a shot. Another player that you mentioned in that same voice or in that same breath was Gravenberch. Gravenberch has a great opportunity to try to take some of this momentum that he's starting to build and make something of it.
Gravendinho. Hey, Gravendinho. You just got to hold on to that one. Don't give it up. Because in a year's time, when you're right, you can say, I always call him Gravendinho.
Yep.
He is, man. It's the cruelty of football. But one guy in, then the next guy, it's his opportunity. But after this, it's we don't. There's nothing. It's McConnell. It's Clark. It's So as good as it is, they're going to have a lot asked of them.
Yeah.
They are. And I the thing about Gravenberch, I think he's way better when he starts. Okay. I think when he comes on,
you think Cody's way better, or Gravenberch?
Oh, Gravenberch, yeah. I think Cody either way.
So I think the same thing. I like Cody starting actually too. I don't mind. I don't expect him to be like, like the Diego style of like impact player. But I think if you let Cody
lead a line with his height and his pace, he can lead a line. But you're asking to play against Luton. They're probably asking to play in a cup final. So it's a massive week. Can't believe, for someone like him, that's football.
Yeah.
You should probably would have been on the bench. Everyone fit. You're probably on the bench now. You're there at 3:00 when the camera's going down the line and shaking hands with whoever it is, and your chance to be the hero.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, hopefully you'll get credit, because Gallagher didn't get any credit for winning the other 2 cup finals. So hopefully, if he does,
let's not even go there, Brian.
It's irrelevant.
That's another episode. We're definitely going to have to reach out to Sabiri to be a part of that conversation. But yeah, let's not even go there on that one, because I think Kelleher had a great game. Speaking of, you know what? Let me say this first off. I've heard an update on Mo Salah is that it's cramping. It was cramping. That's natural, to be honest with you. I think you're probably going to cramp up, or you might even like get some type of like essence of fatigue, because I've said it's one thing to be in the training room if not on the training pitch, but it's another thing to be in an actual game. Those are totally different. Those are totally different concepts. You could be technically physically fit to go for a game, but once you get into that game, the throttle being like, pushed to the floor, and you being having to like continuously, call upon it, from cold starts at times, it can be definitely
They were saying 20 was the plan.
right.
That's what I read somewhere. I don't know if you read that as well. I saw someone saying that the plan was 20.
20 minutes.
Right. Yeah. And then obviously a bit too much. But it was like, are we rushing him back? But what choice? I think we've been forced into a bit of a corner here. And yeah, it was, no big shock that next day turns out he's cramping it or whatever it might be. But he was fit enough to be on the bench, and it was only 45 minutes, so it shouldn't have been, oh no, we've set him back another month. That shouldn't have been possible just by playing 20 minutes more than he was supposed to. But it's real bare bones stuff now, and we've been here before. When you get down to the bare bones, sometimes that's when you get the best performances.
Yeah,
you've got guys coming in like Shaqiri and Origi, that Barcelona game, corner taken quickly. Mane and Firmino out, or Firmino and Salah out, or I can't remember who it was, and someone else in midfield was out. And biggest comeback of all time, apart from the one in Istanbul. I don't mind sometimes, but it's just the fact that you're getting close to really having to call on kids who you shouldn't be expecting to be able to perform in games.
Roster Crab just mentioned one right here. Kai Gordon, I think he's going to be called upon to. You're going to see him, I think, in a lineup for us. But no one, I don't think anyone was ever saying, do you expect to see Kai Gordon in a cup final possibly or something, or even on the bench for a cup final. I'm not necessarily starting, but even on the bench as an option for a cup final at this measure of his recovery. I wouldn't have said that, but.
Yeah, I don't know what his situation is at the moment. I know he was feeling a knock or something. You don't want to be in to that kind of selection pool. Basically, those are the guys that you want to be able to bring on. Let's just say we're living in dreamland here, and we're 4-0 up against Chelsea with 80 minutes gone in the cup final. Then you can bring on a Kay Gordon. Then you can bring on a Bobby Clark, someone who had contributed along the way. If they played in cup games and they did as a reward. But if it comes down to it, and basically you've got a spot on the team and you can't fill, and the only kid there, sometimes but we don't want to be in that scenario. I know what Raska was saying, you got to give the kids a shot, man. But what, like in a cup final? Because of injuries? No, you want to work them into a place where you're ready to give them a shot and you've lined them up for it, not in an emergency situation.
Right.
It's again, with the Bradley thing. Bradley's 20. Bradley's not 17. Bradley had a season on loan at Bolton. Bradley spent a year playing men's football. He's more mature than some people think he is. But what I'm saying, just with Rasa, these are emergency type scenarios. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't have to.
Right.
If everyone was fit, we wouldn't be saying you got to give Kay Gordon a shot in the cup final. We're being forced into these scenarios, and it's like, okay, well, if you had to pick him, we'll pick him. But if it's just, it wouldn't be fair to say to the kid, right, look, go out there and perform in a game like this. It could be the making of a man. It could be the next.
Could be that breakout game. That separates.
Okay, if Rasta saying you don't believe that, okay, Rasta, all I'm saying is if we've got to the point where we're picking Cade Gordon to play right wing, something has gone wrong. Obviously, we will have injuries. That's all I'm saying. Is if Cade Gordon is next cab off the rank, then obviously Salah is out and Jota is out and someone else is out. Elliott is out. That's the only reason you're going to get to a point where you're picking Cade Gordon. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be worrying if we've gotten to that level of player that we've so many injuries that we're having to call the proper kids up.
Right.
It's that's not where a position you want to be in. Is my point. It's like it could be the making of Cade Gordon. He could come on and be the next Conor Bradley and score twice in the cup final. That's amazing, but it won't be the plan. It shouldn't be the plan. The plan should be to have fit senior players. And again, yeah, look, if keep Mo for the final, definitely. But again, let's not pretend that this is a good scenario to be in. That we're, I'm fine with Bradley and them coming through and Kwanzaa, but that's all when the time is there and minutes are available. Not because Jesus Christ, we've got an injury crisis. It's separate things. But a good question from Tarmizi there. If you want to separate it, or if you want to start it later on.
Yes, yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, I'll bring it up for you. M. Tarmizi, big up to you. Always bringing like some real professor level. Like this is like advanced like advanced football, not 101. It's like class 401 or something like that, right?
Well, no, this is some. Well, basically this is Tarmizi with the football side quests.
Yeah. He asks, could you see in the future that a club will clearly segregate the profession of coach and manager? Like keyword, clearly segregated. I think, and I can understand what he's saying by it, because I think, honestly, from what we see on the pitch, or at least on the sideline, let's be honest, it seems at times like Pep is more our coach and Klopp is more our manager. And what I mean by that is Klopp is more of the manager that deals with the egos. He deals with, having to take on the brunt of the flack and all the negativity and everything else. Like that is something that he deals with as a quote unquote, in my sense, a manager, because he's managing the club, he's managing the egos, he's managing the press, he's managing the fan base, he's managing all these different things. But Pep definitely has a very, very heightened level of influence as to tactically where we play these players, how we play these players, what these moves are to do. Obviously, the final decision is on Klopp, so he still has an impact. He's not saying that Klopp can't be a tactical person or can't be a coach in that manner, but I am saying that I think that it somewhat already exists, and I think that because of such, it's better that way, because then it would be a case of they already do get on Pep a little bit already, but it would certainly be even more so. You would see a lot more emphasis of the fury of every tactical decision that goes wrong being fired at Pep instead of Klopp. That's at least my take. What's your take, Brian?
This good question. A two-part answer. I'd say first off, they kind of already have done that, but I know because in terms of the whole director of football role and the manager or the coach, so I think that's kind of moved it more in that direction. But when he's saying clearly segregate, I think what you'll always have, I think you'll have the majority of clubs will have someone who is a director of football, and then you'll have someone who might be called a manager, but will be in reality the head coach.
Right.
But you will always have people. Some clubs will want managers. Some clubs will want coaches. Some people will want to be managers. Some people will just want to be coaches. Klopp was like that in the early days. He just wanted to be a coach. He didn't want to have to do all the management stuff. As he got older, he wanted a little bit more influence. Someone like Guardiola, he just wants the best team. He's one of those best team around me type people. I'm a coach. I coach the players. I want the best guy for scout. I want, he's a real coach. But you'll always have someone. They are kind of becoming more of a dying breed, the Mourinho types that will always just they'll want to be a manager. They'll want to be the manager. But those structures, I think, will have changed more and more in because as clubs become more professional, you will have basically, because the whole idea with this is if you have a director of football, he directs the football operations at the club. So basically, he decides what kind of beer you're going to make, right? You're making beer. He's deciding what kind of beer this company makes, and he's going to bring in a guy who makes that kind of beer, right? So all the ingredients that you use are based the same kind of ingredients, right? So if that guy leaves, you bring in another guy who makes the same kind of beer, right? So he still works to the same. What they used to do was basically hire a guy and say, what kind of beer do you want to make? And buy him all the ingredients that he wanted. Sack him after 6 months, bring in a new manager and say, what kind of beer do you want to make? He says a completely different type. So you've got a warehouse full of ingredients that are no good to you, and he wants a load of new different. That's what they're trying to cut out. They want to be able to bring in managers that will work with the players they have and all that. That you don't have someone comes in and go, oh yeah, all those 6 lads you bought last year, they're shite, get rid of them. And here's a list of 7 new players I want. That's what they're trying to cut out and get rid of, and that's what the manager brings you, is that thing where he might hate the previous guy and say, I don't want his captain, I don't want his goalkeeper, I don't care that you bought him for 20 million quid last year, I want my own goalkeeper, all this stuff. Whereas when you have a kind of a coach and you have a director of football, they kind of cut out that a little bit. So I can see the manager kind of thing definitely dying away, and it clearly becoming that it will be more head coach, and then upstairs controls a lot, but obviously with manager input, but everybody will be a little bit different. But I think the Allardyces and the Mourinhos of this world, I think they're kind of come in and rip everything up and start again, that kind of thing. I think that attitude, that'll kind of die away, because they've spent too much money on squads to come for some guy to just come in and go, nah, I don't like Szoboszlai, Trent's not for me, I'd sell Darwin, you can let Van Dijk go, they can't have that anymore, and say, here's a £200 million transfer list of players I want instead.
Right. It's gonna be different, yeah, because Tarmizi says he's just wondering the future possibilities. I can understand that it could basically alleviate some of the stress, as you mentioned before, as well. Alleviate some of the stress and some of the intensity of the job of having to take on both of those jobs of being coach and manager. If you have someone that's going to obviously do your light work or do your other work, however you want to reference it.
There was less work as well. Remember, back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, football wasn't as big and as complicated as it is now.
Yeah.
So a manager could actually probably do most of it.
So he is doing a lot. But you're right. The back room is taking on a lot of the. It used to be coaches had to go and watch a lot of tape or even go to the games. I know they have scouts to do those portions too. But for some key players, they would show up at maybe a game or something like that to watch the. This is way back in the day, but watch a player play.
Try to do that now.
That's just not a thing, really.
Yeah, imagine Pep Guardiola showed up at a match between Liverpool and Wolves at Anfield. Who is he here watching? What the hell is he doing there?
Yeah.
So they just have the world of football is the demands on them now are so much that they need a guy for this, they need a guy for that. Imagine 20 years ago saying to Alex Ferguson, you need a social media manager. You were just punched in the face immediately.
Yeah.
And just get out of my office. Stop wasting my time. Social media manager. Come on. But now it's no, you have to meet with the social media manager every month.
Yeah, you do.
It's just these guys, when they get into football, they don't do it to have meetings with social media managers. They do it to coach on the grass. So the super coach now, I think, will be definitely more of a thing than the old school overcoat manager.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying, guys. And that whole old school mentality of there's the gaffer, everything goes for the gaffer, type thing.
All the transfer, everything.
Yeah,
no.
everything. Yeah. There was a quote, or there's a little update. Now we're going to get into these ratings because we need to definitely hit it. I see that we're past the 70th minute right now. So basically, this is what King, reporter King said. I believe Diego is going to be out for 2 months, which could be huge. This is a quote, at least. Nunez a couple of weeks. Jones maybe a week. That's what he's being led to be the case. He also went on to say, this is a reporter at least saying this, and he goes on to say, with Mo Salah also being ruled out of the Luton game on Wednesday night, it leaves Diaz and Gakpo as Liverpool's only remaining senior attackers. So we could see Harvey Elliott operating on the right of a front three against the Hatters. And again, he goes on to say something I said earlier, I said as well, which is basically the next few games. He said, because Trap Joe asked this question, he said, I believe the next few games our success is going to reign heavily on how well we see Diaz continue to keep up his form and how well we can see Cody really step up and be the Cody that we saw towards the end of last year, and definitely saw bits and pieces when he actually got to play the position that he prefers throughout this year. But yeah, that's just and I could definitely say
Rasta might get his wish.
What's Rasta?
With that injury list, he might get his wish.
Yeah.
I mean, if Elliott doesn't play there, like,
who do you play?
Yeah.
I suggested Kai Gordon too, to be honest with you. Because like you're not going to go over front two. We're not going to see all of a sudden change in formation, I don't think. No,
that's a fact. No, you're right. He's going to go with a 4, so it will be. He's not going to. He definitely won't try and change it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's not. Geez, like I was saying last night. You remember that there's 3 of them out, and they all look kind of bad. So I'd take one of them coming back early.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be happy if it was like, okay, look, 2 of them are definitely out, but one of them is only, like Jones, they're only a week. I mean, I wish I'm no slight on Jones, but
could you see this by Revenite? Could you see this by Revenite happening? It says Kai could come on as a sub against Luton for 60, and then play the Southampton game in the FA Cup.
But if we're look, like you said it, man, I'm not going to put it out there, and it shouldn't happen. But if we're not switched on, Luton are going to have a proper go at us.
Mm-hmm.
So an hour in, that game might not be over. If that game is over after an hour, yeah, definitely.
Yes. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I've seen Luton a few times this season, and they do not care. They don't respect. It's something has
switched. You see them against the Manchester. I don't know if you watched that. I watched the game actually against Man U, and look, I thought Luton outplayed Man U in that game. I think Luton deserved.
They dominated possession. They dominated.
Yeah, I think Luton deserved something from that game at least.
When I was looking at it, it was only about 70 minutes gone, and they had 60% possession in the game. They dominated.
Mm-hmm.
Alfie Doughty, you got to look out for Alfie Doughty. He's a chance creation machine. Now they've lost their striker. They've lost Adebayo, which is bad for them. But they've the switch has gone in their head. They're like, why are we, acting like we're here for one season? Let's just enjoy it and let's just go and attack teams.
I think they're going even further. I think they were saying, you know what?
Once
they got close to beating us, and then once they got close to beating us, once they got close to beating City, once they got close to beating Spurs, once they got close to beating Arsenal, I think they finally recognized, or they were probably saying to themselves, we deserve to be here.
That 4-4 at Newcastle when they were 4-2 up.
Yeah.
Most teams would have been crushed by that. Yeah. They went to Newcastle and scored 4.
Yeah.
I think that's giving them huge confidence now to say
absolutely, because Newcastle's not an easy place to go and play.
Ross Barkley is reborn.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he almost had a game winner, or not game winner. He almost had a game equalizer.
Yeah,
he had a header that just barely missed the target at the end of that game. Barely.
Well, let's get into these. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, let's get into these. This is the fun portion of the day. And what it is our ratings. Let's just get into this. Let's definitely get into this. All right. Well, let's get into someone that I think could be. I personally think he could be a man of the match candidate, despite letting in a goal. I don't know. I know he's your countryman, but also I know that I don't know if you thought that he had a man of the match style performance, or at least candidate man of the match style performance. But I personally think he did, and that is Kelleher. What were you guys thinking of Kelleher's performance yesterday? I thought he was real. He had some really great saves. The Toney goal was just unfortunate that the save that he made happened to just drop perfectly for Toney, and then Toney was able to slot it home despite it almost getting deflected or almost getting blocked by McAllister, and then almost even getting blocked by Kelleher as he looked to try to stop that shot. But I thought he had a really good game. What were your ratings?
Yeah, I thought he was really good as well. That was two. Yeah, he had two like proper saves, and that one, yeah, that really is like when it drops. If it drops to somebody else, they might not. But as soon as it drops to Toney,
Yeah,
kind of
it's
over.
going in.
And that's really probably the only mistake he made in the whole game. Oh, and I think I missed JK in the chat earlier on, so big up to JK. Brent has gone.
Oh yeah. Revenite has him at an 8. Revenite has Kelleher at an 8. KJ has him at a 9.
I'm at a 9.
He says he was livid. The team let his clean sheet go because he deserved one. I agree. I mean, McAllister made a concerted effort to try to put it, try to snuff that out. He had an absolute brilliant save off of one where he just basically the ball was like actually going into the goal. Like it was already past him. If you were to make a plane where he was where his body was, it already gone past him, and he was able to catch it somewhat with his left hand and push it out. That was incredible.
Strong hand, really strong hand.
Yeah, really incredible save. And even on that goal, I think that was an incredible save. That was like a really, really intense save. I mean, that was like a pretty point blank shot. He made a great save.
Someone was saying, I can't remember who it was on. He was saying that it was unlucky because he couldn't. No, ordinarily you'd push that out.
Yeah,
but it's just the way it kind of he couldn't push it out to the, or like some say, oh, he should have pushed it away. Like he kind of had no choice. It had to kind of go back where it went. So it was if it landed at Toney, it's just if that lands 6 inches either side, it's not a goal.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm not really blaming him on that. So I'd give him a 9. I'd give him the top tier.
Yeah,
not man of the match, but top tier.
He should be a candidate. He should at least be if not an honorable mention, he should definitely be a candidate for man of the match, despite letting in a goal. Obviously, if he had a clean sheet, I'm sure he'd be a concise candidate for it. Because I see Daz Reynolds gave him an 8.5. Kelleher was given an 8 by Trap Joe. 8 from Mark A. Revenite was also remarking about how that save was incredible. I agree. And then KJ saying it was the phase of play that led to the chance that he was not happy about. Not much.
Oh, he was pissed. He was pissed. All right.
He was pissed. Yeah. You saw that. And that's cool because he's gonna be the man for a little while. He's got to recognize the fact that I know that you're not necessarily in the leadership group, but you're the goalkeeper. So yeah, you want clean sheets. Please go. Yeah. He says if he had gotten the clean sheet, it would be a 9.5 for Revenite. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. But I'm going to say let's put him in that man of the match, or top of the tier, man of the match candidate presence for now. Early candidate, not necessarily the leading candidate, but definitely an early candidate. How about for Yes, I agree, KJ. Real quick, he says, "I love to seeing the passion and emotion once we conceded. He really wanted that clean sheet. Yeah, he wants. Kelleher wants this badly to be back in that, you know, to be back in that discussion to like to really put to rest the
Well,
arguments by Quasi and K-Mac and
well,
keeping
you're a
me
keeper,
out of
like
that
you're an
one.
ex-keeper, man. Like when
Yeah,
your team is winning, right? If
yeah,
your team is winning a game like that, and it is whatever it is. Um,
right. Because it was 2-0
so
at the time. I think by that time it
yeah,
was
like
2-0.
as a
Yeah,
goalkeeper, like you can add what you can add,
right.
but for you as a goalkeeper going home, that clean sheet is like a goal for a striker.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
his peak moment in a game. Like that clean sheet. That for him is like, yeah,
yeah.
losing that's okay. We won 4-1, but that one little thing. That's to them. It's
It's
kind of
it's
the
every.
difference
It
between a
can be
good game
sometimes
and a winning
everything.
game.
That's
So that's why they
yeah,
get so angry.
yeah,
They want to be able to. They want to be able to go in the locker and say, "Didn't get beat today." Yeah, it's so big for them. It really is. You do. People don't kind of. The goalkeeper psychology is very different. So for him, like, and look, it's probably worth. You know, probably worth a nice little bonus as well. Clean
yeah.
sheet bonus.
So many
Probably worth.
goalies. I never knew there was that many goalkeepers out in the community here. Revenite says similar thing happened to him, Brian. He played goalie in school football in local league. He saved the penalty, fished it out of the bottom corner. We cleared it 30 seconds later.
Revenite's on
They
Buffon
crossed it
settings.
and had a
Revenite
few
is
minutes.
on Buffon settings, man.
Huh? Yeah.
Revenite is on Buffon settings.
Definitely. Well, I gotta write these down, man. We're coming up with some pretty good episodes. We should make an episode where we can we'll make an episode where we could do like play we'll take people from the chat and we'll compare them of who, or allow for them to at least have their 2 cents, but we'll give them a player that would be their player of like if they were in the league type thing. So you're saying Buffon for Revenite, basically? That's cool. I like that.
Sounds like it anyway. Sounds like it so far. I would have
Um,
said Lev Yashin, but nobody would have known who I was talking about.
oh
But there
wow,
you go.
that's a shout. Um, let me think. Let me think. Yeah. Before I get on to Robbo, he says to you, that was the best save ever. That was the best save ever he ever had, Brian. That was a hell of a fluke. The guy tried doing the point at the opposite corner, and I called his bluff. Oh, that's
He,
cool.
he tried to give him the eyes. Rev didn't
Yeah,
fall for it.
exactly.
Rev
Try
didn't
to like
fall for it.
give him the okey doke.
Yeah.
Um, let's move on to Robbo. Let's move on to Robbo. I think that people are underrating Robbo's return. I think people are underrating the level that Robbo gives us, that can still offer us. Because I think Robbo has returned with a renewed and intensely devoted and focused approach towards regaining his left back and contributing, as a leader on this group, but contributing to the team and not being like someone that's just getting carried in essence. Like,
No,
Robbo
nobody's
looks
ever
like a
carried that.
player that's been out for a while, that's been really, really chomping at the bit to get back in there. What were you going to say, Brian?
Yeah, nobody has ever had to carry Robbo in his life. No doubt
Yeah,
about that. Like
yeah,
when he comes back, he may not be tactics come into this, but he may not be, or context, as everyone wants to call it.
Mhm.
He may not be the Robbo of old when we were a counter pressing machine and we had two pure out and out attacking fullbacks. We just don't play that
Mhm.
way. But he still kind of goes about it, gets forward a lot, was taking a lot of corners the other day.
Yeah,
It's not that old Robbo. It's not that old. It's not that old style. It's just it is a slightly watered down version maybe of the old Robertson, but what he was doing before was hyper exceptional. So it's not. It's weird. I don't quite know what to make of Robertson's current situation
Yeah,
because I'm very happy with it. I'm
yeah.
happy with him, but I'm not sure where his future lies.
I
As
get
someone
you.
like
I mean,
as you
yeah,
get
it's going
older,
to be determined
being
upon the next coach, obviously. I mean, because the
yeah,
next coach might not play him in the role he's playing right now. But
yeah, like he's like I said it before with Robbo's a super attacking left back, okay, and that's not something you can keep doing the older you get at your peak. It's a younger man's game, and a lot of players these days you can kind of see a position that they might move into. Robbo is one player that I kind of wonder or worry about what other position he might play in. So I think maybe physically he might be just about near his the end of his peak, you know. So
uh,
yeah, it will be interesting. I think he's something to keep an eye on for me. I'm not saying this is just something me personally I'm interested in watching to see. Yeah, like you say, what does the next manager think? Like, could I be proven wrong and in a year's time he's actually a world class centre half? You know, I don't know.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
don't. I just think his main thing is probably affected by age. But Kyle Walker, you know, it may be become a Kyle Walker type of thing. I really don't know.
Oh,
But
okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
it's just interesting to see because you know I think the best Andy Roberts is that out and out attacking, flying left back Robertson.
Mhm.
Basically, is what I'm saying. So I think maybe
An 8.
uh,
You go 8. I
oh,
don't think
sorry,
I don't think he had a average performance. I think he had an
yeah,
above average performance. I think he was
yeah,
active. I think he was good. I think he was. KJ gave him an 8. Dustin gave him a 9.
yeah,
Revenite,
definitely.
Dustin.
Mhm.
Revenite gave him an above average. Originally gave him a 7.5, but I pressed him to say was he average or above average, and he went with average or above average. Excuse me. I think it was above average performance by him.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. Great.
yeah, I had him in an 8.
Let's go. Okay. No, say what you said.
No, yeah, I had him in an 8. I'm happy with that. No problem.
How about for Ibu? Or so no, not Ibu. Excuse me. How about for our captain Virgil? I'll just go straight along the lines. How about for Virgil?
Yeah, an
What would
8.
you
Not a huge
right?
amount.
I'd say another a solid performance. I think the aura is back for Virgil. I think the aura is back. I think people are recognizing the aura is back a little bit because people aren't really like as in there were parts and points last year at least where people were like, oh, we can spot Virgil out. We can try to like, go at Virgil, Nowadays they're really not really they're kind of staying away from that section of the pitch,
He's
They're
kind
kind
of
of like
averaging
going,
8 now. He's back to that level. Yeah, he's pretty much he's an 8 every week base
right.
now
Yeah.
at least. Yeah, he's definitely back to that level. No, yeah, like you're saying, oh, he's done. No, that's finished. That
I'm
idea
glad
that
to
he's
hear that.
gone
Yeah.
on. Yeah, no way, man.
Yeah, because he's getting some good scores. Revenant gave him an 8. Revenant gave him above average. Dustin gave him a 10. Wow, he has him as being the man of the match, I guess. KJ gave him an 8.5. That's high ratings. Wow, the people are they're giving him a 9.
This is kind of what I mean. It's like he's putting in these top tier performances every single
Yeah,
week,
yeah.
and they're going unnoticed because he's so good at what he's
Because he's so
basically.
good. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he has a top game, you shouldn't see him,
Right. Right.
and it's kind of that's why he's not been called out with 9s and 10s every week because it's just like, oh, he just did what Virgil does. Whereas we
Yeah.
don't realize now we've forgotten or become accustomed to just how good that is.
I think
You
Trent
know?
falls in that category too, by the way. I'm not going to get into a Trent debate right now, but I
Yeah,
was just going to say I think Trent falls into that category too. People have just become so accustomed to the bar. Trent and Mo fall into that category where the bar is so high, that if they don't even exceed that bar sometimes, they get, really, really, poor marks or poor grades. But
yeah,
it is what it
and
is.
people don't realize then that when they're giving high marks to people, it's because they're only doing it once every 4 or 5 games, and it
Yeah.
stands out so much. And the guys who put it in every single week, oh well, that's just typical Ali, typical Virgil, typical Mo. Got a goal and assist, kept a clean sheet, or was best goalkeeper in the world, whatever. That's just them. So
Yeah.
it does, and it's understandable as well. But I agree with Trent. It isn't normal to be as good as he is.
Right.
His flaws are manifest and there for everyone to see.
Right. Sure.
And it will always be the conversation. But yeah, Virgil, man, quietly just back to doing what he did.
Yeah. Which we're all. I think that captain's band helped out too, by the way, mentally, and just the importance of what that captain band means. But we can get on that another time. I've already done a Virgil van Dijk episode earlier this year when people were really heavily still slating him, but all the same, all good. Rev Knight says his standards are higher. That's why when you're a great player, we need a bit more to justify 9s and 10s. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It's a little harsh. In my opinion, it's a little harsh. Kind of mean, like, I get it. You're expecting superstar performances out of superstars. But if they give you a star performance, then it's like, does that really, if that was given by your average player, that's an 8, that's a 9. I get what you're saying.
Is all I'm going to say to that. I'm not sure about that logic, Rev. I'm not entirely sure about that. I know what you're getting at.
I know what he's getting at, for sure.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfair. But
I got it. He says his rating if you give him an 8.5. I got you. All right, so how about for Ibu? Ibu, according to my algorithm, did not have that great of a game. I think it was more so he just didn't have that much to deal with in the game, but I'll give you some of his numbers. He was 33 out of 45 for his 33 for 44 for his passing, 75%. 0 for 1 for crossing, 0 for 4 for long balls, 0 for 2 for ground duels, 3 out of 4 for aerial duels, lost the ball 12 times, had 2 fouls, and that's it, basically. 3 clearances and 4 interceptions. Even was an interesting case where I don't think Brentford really threatened us the way, despite the XG being so high as it was. There wasn't, the eye test wouldn't really pull out that we were in jeopardy of possibly losing this game at some point, No,
they never looked threatening, genuinely threatening, apart from like moments. But we had most of that game, so probably just that Ibu had, not a whole lot. Those stats say kind of didn't have much to do, basically.
Right, that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah. Some people are saying
they don't have one strike. Well, they kind of played a 2 up front type thing, didn't they?
I can tell you right now. They played a 3-5-2.
Yeah. So the other guy, I can't remember his name because it wasn't Vissa. Vissa came on. Who did he play up front off Tony?
He played
Mopai.
Mopai.
Yeah. He's not great, but he's been very good recently. He's had a bit of a renaissance since he went back there. Mm-hmm. But it just seems like, kind of just a quiet day at the office for Kanate, really, as opposed to didn't do much. So I'd say average. Just average.
Yeah, I know that's what I was going to say too, Brian. I was going to say, like, I see the ratings. I'm a man of the people. Brian is too. But Dustin gave him a 9. I think that's probably an outlier, but he gave him a 9. KJ gave him an 8.5. Okay. Rev Knight said what you were just saying, which is those stats sound worse than he was. I agree with that because those stats do not sound good.
No, but if you got nothing to do, you got nothing to do.
Yeah. Trap Joe gave him 6.5 to a 7. Rev Knight gave him an 8.
6.2. So look, anything above 6.
I agree with you. I think he was average. I think we should put him in average. We can always bump him up, maybe, but I think he was average. He wasn't above average because the little work that he had to do, he was average at doing it. It'd be a different story, like as if he had like a lot of if he won a lot of, if he had the 2 ground duels or whatever I said he had. I'm trying to think how many I said he had. Let me pull that up again. Yeah, he had two ground duels. It'd be a different story if maybe he had one win out of the ground duels, but he had zero. It'd be different if he was like connecting on some of the things we've seen him do, which is cross the ball or maybe even like doing the long balls. He was 0 for 4 for long balls, 0 for 1 for crosses. So like if he had one, maybe two of those, I'd say yes, but I'm gonna go with average. I know Drunk Vigo. Drunk Vigo's getting on me about saying Konate's average.
Just concentrate on the 7 out of 10 bit, not the average. Just call it 7 out of 10. Sounds way better.
7 out of 10. Okay, 7 out of 10. I know I already dealt with that with Revenite. I was like, hey, just pick the word or the number that best that your mind best connects with, that your brain best connects with.
No, that's to Drunk Vigo. It sounds okay. Average might sound bad, so just say 7 out of 10. Sounds way better.
Way better. Way better. Let's go with, you know what? I don't know if do I have him up? No, I don't. So, I don't have Connor Brad. I don't have any of the youngsters on this page, so I'm gonna save Connor for next round while I get his picture up ready or his picture ready. But let's move on to Curtis Jones. What was your feelings about Curtis Jones? Obviously, Curtis Jones had a short spell. He didn't get to play. He obviously got injured in the game early or somewhat early because he only played 34 minutes. Really didn't have an impact on the game. I don't know if you want to rate. Do you want to even rate him for?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to think. What I can't give a rate.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what would you say? Like
yeah.
Before, how good was he for 34 minutes? If you're going to say that, I mean, until he got injured, how well was he playing? If you wanted to just do that, I don't know, but part of that kind of harsh to. Well, it almost an NA, really, isn't it? Nearly.
Yeah, I could go with that. Yeah, I could go with that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I could definitely go with that.
Yeah.
How about for a player that we're all high on? We're all high on a player, or most of us are high on now, at least, and that is a player that on some people's ratings got man of the match. Diego, I think Diego would have gotten. I think on a lot of people's books, Diego would have gotten man of the match if he stayed on the pitch. But Lautaro Endo.
Yeah, I've seen him, and I saw Gakpo get the official one, I think.
Yes, yeah.
But a lot of praise definitely yesterday for Endo.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I think he's. It sounds funny, but I think he was a bit shy at the start, and I think he's grown into his role a bit more now. You're seeing him being a bit more, a bit more Endo, like the player you bought, the player that I assume was doing this stuff at Stuttgart. So that bit of confidence, that extra bit, you can see now he knows. Okay, I'm in this team now. Like I'm in this team. I'm not some big part. I'm not still in audition mode. You know what I mean?
Right.
Too afraid,
right.
not wanting to make mistakes, more afraid of making a mistake. Now you've seen it. Like he knows. Basically, we're talking about the yellow card of game. He knows when to get his yellow card, when not to take the yellow card, and how to play after he got the yellow card. Lets everybody kind of take. All I wanted him to do was when the back four had the ball, just take the ball off the back four and pass it. What he was doing before was running away from the back four too much.
Yes.
He just needed that confidence to go, no, you're the man. You drop in, get the ball off whoever. Now, if they go past you, they go past you. But just take it, get it, and give it. That's your job. It's not that difficult. Like, it's hard to be world class at it, but the basics of it, take the ball under pressure. You will be pressed. That's the hard bit. Turn out with that, pass the ball, release. That's good pass, but you don't have to be Xabi Alonso. And now he's grown into that role, and he'll become vital in the team. When you've got someone like that, he's just super reliable, really. And I am happy for him. Really happy to see a player like that, because
because it's all hard work. His heart is like he's I would even say is Kabak, Ozan Kabak. Big up to Ozan Kabak, if you see us on replay or if you join us later on. But he's one of those players that knows this is certainly a team that he possibly never saw himself being
dreamed of it. Never dreamed of ever playing for Liverpool.
Exactly.
No way. Growing up in Osaka, Japan, or something like this, no chance.
Right. But now that he's here, he's making the most of it.
Even making a career outside of Japan. Even to make a career outside of Japan as a footballer, outside of Asia, you can name on 5 fingers the successful Japanese players. Like there's been more South Korean, but the Japanese players, you've got
as of late there have been, but yes, you're great. Yeah.
Nakamura, you got Nakata back in. You've got like some guys go to Scotland, but to go and like play for a club like Liverpool, first ever Japanese player to play for Liverpool. Yeah, no way he was even went at the age of 28, 29, getting close to 30. He's still at Stuttgart. He's probably thinking that this is as good as it gets for me.
Yeah.
But to get that call, then can you imagine what it was like to get that call from Jurgen Klopp?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Man, come on.
Absolutely.
He was probably thinking, don't even tell me how much money. I don't care. What time is the flight? Just, yes.
It's kind of like, I absolutely will agree with that.
Like, Drunk said it earlier on. He put the nail on the head. He lets other players play better. He makes the other players because he's the original water carrier.
Because he'll do the grunt work. He'll go out there. He'll do like he'll do the things that are necessary, things that people don't want to necessarily do.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
What happened?
I forgot about Minami. Yeah, I said he was our first ever Japanese player.
I didn't hear you say that. I didn't hear you say that.
Oh, I said, he is. He's Minamino, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
I am. Told you, football makes fools of everybody.
Drunk Vigo had Endo at a 9. Reverend had him at a 9. Dustin had an 8. Which is interesting. This is why I love Dustin. I love Dustin's ratings, especially because like he had a couple of guys very super high, and now he has at an 8. So
they go in the opposite direction of where you expect it to go.
Yeah. I like it though. I like it. Big up to Dustin. Trap Show at a 9. Okay, this is the same once we got up 1-0. Oh, yeah, okay. He really turned it on, I think. And KJ gave a 9. That's a solid 9. He's a man of the match candidate. I think he should be front of the line man of the match candidate. In front of all these guys. Endo does what he does, and KJ said it well. Like he made a point about this, right? Because I got a lot of flack for saying what I said about Endo early. There's a lot of content creators that have now, pretended like they were always on his wish list or on his Santa's Secret Santa list or something, I guess. Or however you put it.
All these little Japanese flags all of a sudden appearing in the background in some of their little homemade videos,
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, that wasn't there 6 weeks ago. I don't remember seeing that. And KGS, football is 100, but at least I only forgot about it. At least it's not that I didn't know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can blame it on the old. At least I just forgot. Okay. Yeah. So I didn't, but I'm just blaming that on the old the noggin up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Big up to Revenite. Yeah, definitely. He says he's got to head out, but appreciate you showing some love. Definitely hope we get the win on Wednesday, he says. I agree with you on that one, as always. But yeah, KJ was saying, 12, it feels so rewarding being one of the few supporters who hasn't doubted Endo at all since we signed him, and look at him flourishing now. Hey, it does take a lot to put your neck on the line in saying something, and you're right. I mean, Drunk Vigo says it, 99% of our fan base laughed when we signed him. Hey, not only 99% of our fan base laughed at us, I'd say that was, I'd say 100% practically of the entire league laughed at us.
Well, I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree with 99% of our fan base. Maybe 99% of the idiots on YouTube did, but most of the people I know were like, I've never heard of the guy, and I'm not going to pretend to have seen him play, so I don't know.
Good, yeah.
I don't. So, but yeah, 99 is way too high, man. Like, yeah, some people were like, what are we at? Because those are the 12-year-old kids who only want the £100 million Caicedo signing, and anything that isn't a famous player for a load of money is just hilarious. You know, I know there was a lot of negativity around about it because it seemed like a bit of some random 31-year-old Japanese guy because we didn't get Caicedo. You can understand the easy arguments for who is this, but most Liverpool fans will have given this guy a chance and will have wanted to do really well. But most of them weren't coming out and saying. Basically, people weren't going to come out and saying, "No, Endo was absolutely brilliant," because immediately someone would say, "Why have you watched Stuttgart?" Because you haven't.
Right.
They just
Again,
haven't.
I definitely said that my praise for Endo was because of my love or my interest in Korea and Japan as being the two of the more heavily watched World Cup teams that I follow, you know, and that's the only reason why I even know anything about Endo. That's just the honest because I don't watch the Bundesliga religiously or rarely at all. But I agree with you on that point. Like, as not many people were out there saying there weren't many people that could actively say, "Oh, I followed this team or that."
Yeah, I would have trusted. You would have trusted. Would you have trusted them if they did? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever met someone who you know for a fact watches every Bundesliga?
No, yeah,
you can't.
But Brian, I could say this, and I'll allow for you to land your point. I was just going to say, I could say that the reason why I had confidence in this acquisition was because of our history with acquisitions. I can't stress enough. I get that Edwards isn't in the role anymore, you know, but if all of our great signings or all these really good signings stopped when Edwards left the club, then I would be like, okay, yes, I'm a little bit more hesitant, or I'm a little bit more, you know, stressed out if we're going to be if this choice is going to be a good decision. But considering the backroom pieces that we have in place, I was very confident to know that, okay, the scouting reports that I've been reading on him are exceptional, very all for the most part positive about this player. The eye test I've seen has been good. But go ahead.
But no, yeah, also just because you were going to say, like, but also remember Klopp came out and said, like, and I'm 100% with you, we don't really buy duds for a long time now.
Yeah.
You know,
that's my whole point. Yeah, that's my whole point. Yeah.
Like, I'm with you. It's like you go to a restaurant 100 times, and every time the food is perfect. You know, you just they do a good job there. Something might go wrong one night. Yeah, you might go in one night and something goes wrong, and it's like, well, something obviously went wrong here. It's not. This place only does. 99 times out of 100, they get it spot on. We used to get it. We used to be like just scattergun. See what happens. We'll buy 20 players, see what happens. We're so focused now, like, but Klopp also said it, that the club allowed him to step outside to sign Endo, to step outside the model. He made it clear that, which what we all know is that he said, basically, what he said was, we don't sign 30-year-old players. That's not the business model. We just don't do it. And when he was talking about Endo, he said, I really want to thank the club, because basically he was a stopgap, or he was a last-minute emergency because we didn't get Caicedo, right? We all know that. Yeah, but he was a high-quality one, and Schmaka knew him. Schmaka knew how good he was.
If there's anyone who knows, if anyone knows the Bundesliga, it's Schmaka. I mean, like, Schmaka could have made a stance and saying, I don't think this is a good choice. I don't think it's,
This is the point about FSG. This is the point. They bring in people to manage the club and do jobs, and they trust them. They
Yes.
trust him. They wouldn't bring someone in, and then this guy says, "We got to get this guy from the Bundesliga," and they go, "Oh, are you sure?" They're like, "Okay, that's your job to know that stuff. If it goes
Yeah.
wrong, you're getting sacked."
Yeah.
But that's so they trust these guys. So he allowed them to step outside of that model and say, "Okay, in this one-off situation, we know it's not what we normally do, but this guy can come in now. Yeah, he's older than the normal thing. He's whatever, no resale value, long contract, but he will be an excellent acquisition for
Yeah, he'll
us."
be an
And
excellent,
so they said,
excellent role player,
"Okay,
squad player,
yeah."
makeshift starter. He'll be whatever role you need him to play. He's willing to put his ego aside and say, "I'll do it." That's the one thing I loved about him as a player, and or one of the things that you do normally attribute with Asian players is that they have a really great sense of of being humble and being like a team player concept, because a lot of the teams in Asia have that whole,
And incredible
you know,
fitness,
yeah,
incredible fitness as well.
incredible fitness
They're
too.
known
Yeah.
for, especially in the Premier League. Um, the way the Premier League in England, they're always a bit skeptical of foreign players.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
when Park came in at Man United, he became kind of famous for being potentially the hardest working player in the league.
Yep. Yep.
And it was the real immediate kind of appreciation for the fitness levels and the commitment to that the Asian players they always brought to the game. Always really high levels of that, and they could just basically keep running all day.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's almost part of the perfect profile for football.
Spot on, Vigo. Drunk Vigo's got it. He's playing for the badge. If you can say there's anyone that's playing for the badge, Endo plays for that badge. I mean, Nunez. We got so many players. I think that's the reason why some of the comments I hear about the players and do they love the club and I'm like, some of these guys really put an honest effort, I think, on that pitch and play for the badge. But let's just move on. Let's move on. I do have Connor Bradley's picture up now. Um, uh, Connor Bradley, man, just continues to do good things for this young individual. Coming back from a very difficult blow in his life of losing his father, and this return to the pitch was hopefully a welcome return for him, in that at least it's like opportunity to like at least try to get an reassemblance of of his life again. um but yeah, Connor Bradley, what did you I thought Bradley was a solid performance. um you know uh Solid performance from him, I would say. Defensive, it was a more measured defensive measure, but he had a shot. He had a couple of really good approaches. Yeah, I think he had a shot. He had a big chance creation too. I think at least one. I want to say, because I remember he did have an opportunity for someone to score.
You don't have his stats there, do you?
I
He's
do
what?
have his stats. Yeah, so one clearance, one interception, one tackle, one dribble pass. He had 78 touches, 53 out of 53 out of 62 passing for an 85% passing rate. Was 0 for 1 for his crosses, but 3 for 3 for long balls, 3 for 5 for ground duels. That's what I meant by like defensively. He was dialed in. 3 for 5 for ground duels, 2 for 3 for aerial duels. Committed one foul, but was fouled once himself. Had one shot on target, one shot off target. Um, and had one dribble attempt that he was successful under. Decent
Yeah,
game.
that pushes him just into the above average. Then for me, that's good because this is like what the guys were saying earlier on. I could have given him average, but if this is the first game he'd ever played for us this season, you'd be like, "Oh, that guy was brilliant today."
Mm. A lot of
You know,
sevens, some sevens. Like Dustin gave him a 7,
yeah.
KJ gave him a 7,
No, I
Trap
think
Joe gave him an 8. He gave
so.
and Trap Joe's with you in that. Trap Joe says Bradley an 8 for the effort, the sheer fact that he's playing, and and that most some of us wouldn't even be in the stadium, much less on the pitch.
I think
You
back
know,
he's good. It's there comes a time you got to move. You got to keep you can't not say sit around forever. But
Right.
You know,
Yeah, you got.
everything will be done. You know, it got to go. Everyone, like, that'll be a big family. That'll be an Irish family. And every single one of those, man, people go back to work the day after the funeral, you know?
Mm-hmm,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you get back to work and keep doing what it
yeah,
is, and, you know, you go and just get your
and
head
life,
down and get on with things.
yeah.
Life goes on, you know, life will
Oda,
go on.
oda di,
But
oda, oda di, oda.
it's the best place for them. There's no, when I play five-a-side football, it's sometimes it can go on over an hour, and nothing else is in your head other than the ball.
Yeah, Drunk Vigo's got it on point. I think
Everything goes out of your head.
he says, Drunk Vigo says he's sure his dad wanted him to play and make the most of this opportunity. I can't say that. I can't agree with that anymore. Yeah. I think, you know, if there's anything, you know, his dad was probably just so elated.
He's out there making them proud. Yeah. He's out there making them all proud, and that's what you got to get on. And, you know, he can't put, you know, your dad wouldn't want him to say, sit at home and cry, you know, for a month or so.
Right.
You know, you grieve in your own way, but like I say, the best place to get your thoughts away just for an hour and a half is out playing football, because you can't concentrate on anything else other than the ball. You know, it's just like you just go to another place for an hour and you can't think about bad stuff, and you're there with your mates and you're playing football. It's the best place for him to be healing and moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he doesn't look like he's missed the beat.
No, it doesn't. Look like I can see what Trap Joe says too. He says Trap Joe says he felt Bradley wanted to score for his dad. I think we could probably see that happening. I think he's going to try to do something in it.
When he does score,
it'll be
look
great.
out for it. Look out for it. When he does score, I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks down a little bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of a, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if
a little bit of like rush of emotions. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that will be for his dad. Like, I know you can get a lot of this kind of people saying, "Oh, this was for this and this was for that," but when he does that first goal, and it won't be long coming because he's already scored. You know, this guy can score goals. When he does, I'd expect a bit of a burst of emotion. Hopefully, he'll get it under Klopp. Because
I hope so.
You know,
we don't want to see the Joey G form run of. We don't want to see our Joey G run of scoring drop.
Players is back.
Drop, but scoring inadequacy, at least.
Players is in the house.
Yeah, I see that. Tony Cruz, big up Tony Cruz. Tony Cruz is #1 fan.
You keep going, man. You keep beating that drum.
Yeah.
So we go. What are we giving him? He got it above average. Okay.
I gave him above average. Yeah. I think you're spot on. I think the sheer fact he gets a little bit of benefit of doubt just in the sheer fact of, you know, not many would have expected him to even be on the pitch, much less, you know, contributing and not be a negative, you know, and be actually actively looking to contribute.
Can I throw a crazy random story at you while we're talking about right backs that played for Jurgen Klopp?
Go ahead.
Do you remember the thing we were doing the other night with the combined thing?
Yeah.
You remember we were talking a lot about Jakub Blaszczykowski? The Polish guy that played for him?
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, this is a bit dark actually. But I just found out today, like, his brother's also a footballer, and they but his dad murdered his mum.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, seriously, like, it's really, apparently this is a really famous thing in Poland. Like, I just saw that today. I'm sorry, I don't know why I bring that up, but we're just going back the other night.
That certainly could probably have an effect on you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, imagine kind of that. Like, I mean, this happened. I mean, can you imagine having to go back to work after something like that?
Wow.
As a young footballer, because he grew up with his granny apparently. So it's like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because who is it that's famous? Because Ronnie O'Sullivan. Do you know who Ronnie O'Sullivan?
No.
Oh, yeah. No, he's a famous snooker player. Anyway, but he's famous because his dad is in prison for something similar. And who is it? Woody Harrelson. His dad is in fame, you know. But I'd never heard about this. But yeah, could you imagine that if, like, I don't know. In a modern day game, the media for that would be atrocious. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I brought that up. Sorry. We can move on. McAllister, right?
Yeah, McAllister.
Not Musialowski. No.
Oh,
Blazikowski, the guy that played under Klopp at Dortmund, the Polish guy.
Okay. Yes.
Jakub Blazikowski.
Okay.
Kind of a 90s guy.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or not a 90s guy, Klopp at Dortmund era. But I don't know Kuba.
I don't know what the chat's talking about, but McAllister. Yeah, let's just move on to McAllister. Because we're about halfway through. I want to try to get through this in the next 20, 30 minutes. McAllister. How are you? I thought McAllister could be a man of the match candidate. I thought that his goal was an exceptional goal. It was one of those goals that, we saw that Liverpool style of real precision of getting, passing and movement and I thought it was a well taken goal by McAllister, to be honest with you. A lot of people have wanted, because of Endo's return and because Endo now can play in that 6, it allows for McAllister to, go into a more advanced role. And we all know McAllister has the tools in the locker to score. And I think it was a well placed goal. I would put him as a top tier performance, but the Drunk Figo has him at 8. KJ has him at 8. What do you have, Matt, Brian?
What are his stats like?
You want to hear his stats? Okay.
Because I saw him as a slightly above average, but because again, I'm watching. I didn't watch the game 3 times, so like I said before,
right.
Can't concentrate on everything. To me, it looked like above average, but if his stats say that he was this and that, it could even be top tier. So I put him.
He had one goal. Obviously, played 83 minutes. One goal, had an xG of 0.33. Had a expected assist of 0.1, but has 76 touches, 83% accuracy of his passing, 2 key passes, was 2 out of 3 for his crosses, 0 for 1 for long balls, but had 1 shot on target, obviously his goal, was 1 out of 2 for his dribble attempts. Wasn't as great on the ground duels as we've seen him be, which was he was 2 out of 10 for ground duels.
Oh, that's poor, man.
Yeah, and 0 out of 1 for aerial goals.
No, he's definitely not going top 10 now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
had one tackle. I just maybe I'm going under the pretense that his finish was so that goal was a really well placed goal. And it was it was basically the game winner in essence, technically. But
yeah, that's not great though. Some of those numbers.
I could go above average. But I would say probably ahead of all the other above averages. Right? Can you say that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Better games than Bravo, yeah. But
yeah, everyone has him pretty much as an 8. Trap Joe had him at 8.5. Again, Drunk Vigo had him 8. KJ had him at 8. Yeah, I think 8's a safe bet. Above average is safe. How about do you want to rate Diego? Because he did get to play 44 minutes, but I thought he was active. I thought he was. That assist was just out of this world. He didn't really have that much opportunity to make a real. He played a half, I guess, but he didn't really get that great of an opportunity to really make anything out of the second half, obviously, because he was 1 for 4 for ground duels, 0 for 1 for aerial duels. Had 1 key pass, obviously, but only had 28 touches. Was 11 out of 17 for passing, and 2 shots on target, and the 1 assist, obviously. But do you want to rate him, or should we?
Yeah, I think if 45 minutes is just about enough to rate him. I think it's just enough minutes, and because of what he did, I'd given him above average performance,
Mhm.
but it is borderline. If someone says not enough,
Borderline,
yeah,
above
very
average,
borderline.
borderline.
Yeah, but it was such a good assist, and he
You
got that.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That kind of gives it the lean. The
yeah,
lean needs to be in above average. Yeah.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
definitely like even Darwin. Darwin can get rated because he played a half, but anything less than that really is kind of unfair. But I want to just give him an above average performance because he did have that impact
Yeah. And it was
rather
just a
than giving
phenomenal
him
assist.
an
Phenomenal.
A. Yeah,
Yeah. How about for Diaz? I thought Diaz had an underrated game. I thought Diaz had a certainly above average game, if not top tier. Um, I don't know I don't know what it's ever going to take for a lot of people to really uh, give the same kudos or the same praises. I get that people don't necessarily see the pace that they necessarily saw from initially before both knee injuries. I get that people don't. There's people out there that go at him for not taking on players more often than he does or to their liking. I thought Lucho was good. This is why I like our chat, by the way. And this is why, your comment about the 99% is spot on because like the 99% of people it can't be completely accurate because the chat is normally online with what some of our takes are. And that is Lucho got a 9.5 from Dustin. He got a 9 from Trap Joe. Drunk Vigo says Diaz has been doing better. He says, I wanted Diaz sold at the beginning of January, but he has stepped up. He says he wouldn't give him a 9, but I'm assuming he probably going to give him above average. What would you give Diaz? Yeah, he says he would give him an 8. What would you give Diaz? I can give you
I
stats.
give him, yeah. What I'm thinking, like, and what I can understand what people don't like about him, but I think that's maybe just more about they've seen better or they want better. They don't really kind of bear in mind what he does as much, but he's not like I don't. He doesn't score as many as some players, some fans would like him to do. But I
I
think he's
mean,
had a rocky road. You're seeing the better side of him now, but
right.
he's. I can understand why he divides opinion. I'll put it that way. He's a very good player, but he's just not everyone's cup of tea. You're going to get that. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I do get it. Some people, it's not. Um, he's not world class or whatever, but we've never really had that so much. I don't know. I don't know what people want from him. I don't know what people, but I get it. I just think it's not everyone's cup of tea kind of thing. And they think we could do
I,
better, or think some other player would be better, or whatever. He's you know he's a really good footballer. He just needs a bit more confidence to maybe beat players, take players on a bit more,
I
have a bit
mean,
more
like,
confidence in himself. But that's
I feel
maybe it.
you. Right.
Maybe it.
Listen to these stats. Listen to some of these stats. He had 4 out of 5 dribbling. His dribble attempts, 4 out of 5 he was successful for. So he
Mm.
took on players. He
Yeah,
had
he had a good
71
game.
touches.
That's what we're saying. He looked
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like more of that, please. It's
Right.
kind of that's the idea. Yes, more of that, please. You've shown us you can do it. More of that, please.
71 touches. He was 46 out of 49 for 94% accuracy was passing. He had a pass
How many
in the
touches?
early parts of the game, in the first half. He had a pass that should have been scored by Mo Salah. Should have been scored by Mo Salah. Salah, unfortunately, I think it was the first half. It might have been the second half. Let me make sure when Salah got subbed in. But he had a pass where it went off Salah. If he wasn't, you could tell he was kind of shaking off a little bit of the rust. But Salah missed it. It went off his shin. Like he kind of like. Do you remember the attempt I'm talking about?
Oh, it looked horrible for Mo. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked like yeah. They had to show it 3 times before you could figure out how he managed to do what he did.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
I don't even know if he kicked it with the foot he meant to kick it with. It was just so. It just was like
It's
even
just
he was going
awkward.
out started
Yeah.
laughing. At least he was laughing. It was so bad. Like
Yeah. Yeah. It was awkward, and that was something like, and that's interesting too because they say he got. They said on here on my app they're giving him again. They gave him like one big chance, but he had an assist, so that's a big chance as well. And I would think that most Salah
no, that's a big chance created. It's not a
big
big
chance
chance.
created, right?
Yeah.
No, that's what it was. Big chance created. It says big chances created once. One.
Yeah.
So, but you would think still though the assist was a big chance as well, right?
No, it's like but in that metric, basically, when he has
Right.
that ball, right, when he goes to kick it, if he takes the shot, that becomes a big chance. If it is a big chance, or when he passes it, then that becomes a big chance created. So it wouldn't be big. It's a big chance for the person he's passed it to.
Mm-hmm.
Not Salah. That's just how that would be. That's how that metric works. If he was to take the shot, then it would have been a big chance. But
Well,
as soon as he
yeah,
passes it to someone else, then he's created the big chance. So he can't create the big chance and also have the big chance. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. No, Trap Joe says yes, but because Nunez touched it a little, I didn't see the touch by Nunez. I'll have to look for that. Maybe that's the reason why it hit off his shin a little.
But it was like you were saying, it was pure shaking off the rust because the next time he got a chance, when he was running into the ball.
Yeah, and because he got Cody, and again, there was a question earlier about I think, or not a question, but a statement about it was about basically Cody, and if Cody and Diaz can really take the reins and be the leaders, obviously with Salah's included, hopefully, but until Salah is match fit, ready to do 90s, can they take on the reins of being the emphasis of our offense? And I mean, like Cody and Diaz look to have like some connections. They look for each other. They definitely trust each other as well. So,
Well, they're going to have to.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're going to have to. So, I mean, it's on you. Yeah. I don't really fear. I've never feared Gakpo. I know a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people love him. He's one of those players. I really like the guy. He's one of our best finishers by far. I don't mind him at all having to play. It's not ideal, like we are saying earlier on, but if he has to play, Gakpo, it doesn't worry me. I mean, Gakpo or Jota, okay, fine, great. Jota's output Gakpo. It's not brilliant, but you're just you're at the kind of the thin end of the wedge, as it were. But Gakpo, I think, could score against most teams in the league. In this Liverpool side.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's Mo's. Are we on Mo? It's Mo's creativity that worries me. It's that right hand side of it, Elliot. That's what worries me.
No, I get that. I get you. We're the last starters. Nunez, obviously, he came off early as well. It was
you have
definitely
to give him above average just for the goal, I think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we gave Bota the above average for the assist. So
yeah, I mean, I would have. It's the sheer. I would put him above average. What's the chat have, Darwin? I don't know if Marion is in the chat any longer. I already know that I was going to allow for Marion's vote to get in there so she could help like push the average up a little bit, because I'm sure she'll give him a 10. But
well, it's only the 45. It's only the 45-minute thing. I couldn't give him top tier for more than 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So just like that.
He was active though. He was active. He only had one shot. That one shot was the shot that he made. I guess he only had 18 touches, 9 out of 15.
Man, when you read them out, you've been reading them out, man. A lot of our players really didn't touch the ball that often. I'm
Yeah.
surprised at how low some of the touches are, and I'm not talking about the guys who got chucked off. I'm talking about like McAllister and Diaz.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's yeah. I was surprised to hear some of the numbers on that. The numbers for Bradley, um, but we had a lot of the possession. It's unusual that. But yeah, again, anybody that's only played 45 minutes, I can't say they had a top tier performance unless he scored a hat trick in that thing. So I can only say like high above average.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm trying to give you an idea of how many, what was like more of the touches. Yeah. Like, yeah, there weren't that many touches by a lot of the players. You're absolutely right. I mean, Endo, I think, was the player that touched the ball the most, actually. He had 91 touches. He was the player that touched the ball the most. You normally wouldn't expect that. Normally
Yeah.
expect that. So to be honest, he changed to 8.5. Says I don't know what to rate Darwin. That's what Drunk says. Drunk Vigo says, but his finish was world class. That's spot on. Dustin gave him a 10. He's picking up the slack for Marion. And yeah, I'm gonna I put him at an 8. I put him at above average, but definitely at the top like as at the top of the pecking order, on the verge of being in top tier if anything, simply because of that finish. You know, he would have been a handful. He would have been a definite handful if he had the ability to stay on the pitch. I think he would have been a real handful for Brentford going forward, because some of those we would have probably created some opportunities for him on those counters. All right, let's get into our bench. We'll just rifle through some of these. We'll go on to Gravenberch. How do you think? How would you? He was our first sub at 34 minutes for Curtis Jones. What were your? I thought Gravenberch played well. I wouldn't go as far as to say he played out of this world, but he played definitely well. He had 48 touches, 31 out of 38 for his passing. Let me see if they gave him credit for a key pass or a big chance. No, they didn't. But he definitely created that Maca. He helped be like the hockey assist that I call it. You know what I mean? By hockey assist, like the assist that set up the assist.
The pass before the pass is what we call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pass before the pass.
He was active. He was engaged. He was like I thought he allowed the game to flow around him. I liked seeing that. He didn't seem as much as out of control as sometimes we've seen him. I was happy to see that. 5 out of 8 for ground duels, 1 out of 1 for aerial duels, 2 out of 3 for his dribble attempts, 3 clearances, 3 tackles. There's some other great stats for him. 82% for his passing. You want to give him above average?
Yeah, I definitely give him above average on that one. Yeah, I thought he had a good game.
Where would you put him in? Where in the pecking order would you put him in?
Well, I'd have Jota a bit higher, maybe. Anyway,
okay.
In the middle, anyway, somewhere in the middle.
Okay, I'll put him next to Jota. I'll put him next to Diego. KJ had him at 8.5. Dustin had him at 8.5. Yeah, that's cool. We'll put him at an 8. How about for Mohamed Salah? Obviously, it was great to see our Egyptian king back. It's also great to see him score. It's also very likely to see him score, obviously, because the man just scores regardless. We already mentioned about the rust. Natural to assume that, coming back from injury, very, very not very often do you just hit the ground running. 1 goal, 1 assist, had 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target. Big chance. He had they did call because they did count that big chance missed from they counted as a big chance missed from Salah, from the Diaz approach, I think.
Yeah, that one where he was in on the goalkeeper and he skewed it. That was definitely his. Yeah.
35 touches, 20 out of 22 for his passing, 2 key passes, 1 big chance created, and was 2 out of 4 for his ground duels. Are we going top tier? How are we doing it? Dustin has him as a 10. KJ has him 8.5. I gotta say, it's just the sheer fact that I would put him even higher than these guys. I might even put him. I'll put him right. I'll put him here. I'll put him third. Give Lucho some love.
Oh no, I'd have
more than
you have above Diaz.
Lucho.
Absolutely, man. He got a goal and an assist. He changed the game when he came on.
All right. I was just trying to show some love for Lucho.
He's near. I know. No, well, look, forget it. It's not Lucho time.
Is he above Endo? Is he above Endo then in the pecking order?
Man, for me, he's almost man of the match. So, yeah, no, it's not about Diaz. It's about Salah this time. It's yeah, for me, he's nearly man of the match. So,
okay. Okay. I have him in top. In the top spots. How about for Cody? Cody got a goal. Happy to see that. I think a lot of us are happy to see that.
We can get
most of them are happy to see that at least.
We can get a vote one with chat. Maybe at the end we can get another vote for man of the match.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're definitely doing it. Yeah, absolutely. Whenever someone puts a man of the match candidates for themselves, I star those mentions. So if you put your man of the match, even if you're not with us when we get to that man of the match segment of the show, I still at least have your vote in with the star as a starred comment.
Can you not put polls in yet? No.
Who that?
Can you not put polls in the chat yet? You don't know how to do that yet.
I'll research that. I don't know how to do that. On StreamYard, I don't know. I don't know if I have to do it, if I have to start using OBS. I have OBS Studio, but I don't use OBS. I usually just go straight through StreamYard. So I'll have to see if
is it one of those kind of subscriber things? You can only do something if you have so many subscribers.
I have the top tier, whatever it is for StreamYard, but I don't know. I'll find out. I'll definitely find out. How about for Cody though? What would you rate Cody?
It's like because he only had the opposite of what the other guys had in terms of minutes. Yeah. So you're saying,
Cody had 1 goal, 1 assist, same stats as Mo Salah. 1 goal, 1 assist, shots on target 1, shots blocked 1. He only had 24 touches, but I mean he only got 45 minutes.
Yeah, see that's the thing. It's still almost. It still has to be a top tier performance, though.
Yeah.
It has to be.
You got to put him in the top tier. He might even get above Lucho, maybe.
The goal and assist, he has to.
Yeah, he has to, I guess, right? Trap Joe gave Cody an 8. KJ gave him an 8. Controlled the game, says Dustin. Dustin gave a 10 to Cody. That was a comment. I think Endo, Drunk Figure's still talking about Endo. So he also says so many players played well. That's spot on too. So many players did play well. Our last 2 subs were at the 83rd minute. It was Joe Gomez and Harvey Elliott. They only got to play for 7 minutes. I don't necessarily know if you want to rate them.
No point for me anyway.
Yeah, like I don't even know if you want to rate 7 minutes worth of play. It was just basically mop up duty. But who's let me read out who put in your man of the match, and I'll read out some of the players. Oh, I have it twice. Drunk Vigo has Endo as his man of the match. Who else do you guys have as your man of the match? Who's your man of the match, Brian, by the way?
You go through the chat for a minute. I'll try and find my thoughts on it because there's a few.
Let's see. I think also I'm trying to think who else if anyone else had a man of the match shout. So I saw Drunk Vigo, but Drunk Vigo put it 2 or 3 times. That's why. I don't know if anyone has. I think actually, wait, hold on. Revenite, I think, gave his man of the match too earlier.
He did. Yeah. Dustin's gone with Gakpo.
Okay. That's a pretty interesting call. We're gonna need some man of the match type performances out of Cody. I'll admit that. All right, so let me see. Yeah, Dustin had Hackbo. That's right. I saw that very early. Someone else had another man of the match in here. I think Rasta gave his man of the match. I think too. I think Rasta gave his man of the match to Elliot. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I think I've been torn towards Salah, but I think I'm going to give it to Endo. I think I'll go with Endo. Like Salah,
Endo.
Yeah, Salah made the difference, but yeah, I'll give it to Endo because he deserved man of the match. There's a few.
I like that. I like that you're going with a player that didn't score, didn't do anything, didn't like having this, didn't have like some assist or something like that. But you go man of the match as into the player that basically.
Not always about, yeah. Like I can see, like Salah changed the game.
Right.
He did. He changed the game, and Gakpo came on and he finished the game. But Endo kind of plays the whole game. The other two get 45 minutes, basically.
Yeah.
And he was top class for the whole game. So I think it'd only be fair. Like, yeah, you could easily give it to either the fancy goal scorer type. But I think the proper shout, I think, would be Endo.
Okay. So that's one vote for Cody. It was one vote for Cody. One vote for, I think there's 2 votes for Endo actually. Drunk Vigo believes in your vote for Endo.
KJ voted for Endo.
Okay.
Drunk Vigo.
Then it's gonna be a landslide then for Endo. Endo is the glue of this team. All right, brothers. Let's put it there. Brothers and sisters, I should say. Endo gets the man of the match. A lot of great performances, though. A lot of really good, solid performances in this game, despite obviously we would have loved to see a clean sheet, but we didn't get it. All well and good. We ended up still putting up 4-1. I want to see our goal differential be greater because it could end up biting us in the end. But right now we are keeping pace with City. And,
it'd be nice to have the extra little cushion. Even if it did come down, it would be nice to have that, yeah. Because it's usually City by a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a chance now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if it came down to it, it'd be horrible, but it would be nice. It would be funny to do it as well, beating my goal difference.
Oh, that would be great. I wouldn't care one. Actually, I want to beat him by 1 point. I don't. That'd be great too. I'd like to. We're not going to be able to get there because I think the top number of points we can get is what, 95.
Oh, okay. We can get I think is it 15 to 38, 26. I think we've something like 14 games.
So we're on 57. We're on 50. We're 25 played, 57 points, right?
Yeah, so we can win
38 matches. There's 38 matches in a year, right?
Yeah, we can win another 39 points if we win all our games.
So that would be 96 points. Okay, so I was one off. Yeah, that was 90. I think. Oh, you know why? Because I think City can only amass. I think City can only get up to 95 points at most.
Easy. Let's just
so we can get 96. That'd be great to win the league with 96 points and have City have 95. I'd be over the moon with that.
Yeah, with some last minute goal shit as well, just to rub it right in there. Let's do it the way they did to us would be extra special.
Yep.
Have it be
something where also where like if we win the game like 3-2 or something like that, or 2-1 at Anfield, and if they had just gotten that point from us, then it could have and would have, or possibly could have made a difference. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, like at the same time, you do want to play Wolves at home on the final day of the season with
Yeah.
everything cool. Like you just want to have it won by then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can inevitably probably lose 4-0 to Wolves or something, which is what usually happens in situations like that. And everyone
Right.
is just having a party, you know?
Yeah.
That's what you ideally would want. Just none of this last day waiting for, what's the score at City. I don't know who they're playing on the last day.
I
You
would
know,
love to go into this and be able to say, I'll tell you who City's playing the last game, but love to go into the end of the season, just basically saying we can just concentrate on on the Europa or something like that, or something along those lines.
hopefully if City
Man
can
City
present
have West Ham as their final match at home.
oh well, yeah, that's 3 points for them. So well,
Their league, the league run that they have is, well, they have a Champions League game before us, but they have
yeah,
us at Anfield. Then they go to Brighton. Then they have Arsenal. Then they host Arsenal. They host Villa. I mean, they've got that's 4 decently difficult games to get results out of.
it definitely is. If they play the way they did against Chelsea, against Arsenal or Villa.
Yeah. Crystal Palace after that. Then they have they go to Crystal Palace, who just, by the way, just fired Roy from Roy has just not fired. Roy has stepped down. He stepped down. Yeah, stepped down.
Yeah, he walked out of hospital, stepped down. It's like, yeah, no shit, Roy. Like the guy,
Yeah.
was it Albert who was saying it the other night? Someone was saying it the other night. It's like someone needs to step in with some of these guys at the age they are and tell them to stop taking managers' job.
Yeah.
It's going to kill you. It's just crazy. For Roy to keep going back. Neil Warnock going up to Aberdeen at the age of like 70, whatever he is. You know how cold it is in Aberdeen? He won't last a winter up there, man. So,
yeah, we're talking about with my with the people from England last night. We were talking about Millwall a lot. We were talking about Millwall and how much of a interesting portion of England that Millwall is. Very, very interesting.
well, back in the day, that was a Millwall Chelsea game. Back in the 80s, was not something you want to get in the middle of.
Mm-hmm.
They were.
I hear. That's what I heard. Yeah.
Well, they were like Millwall. Like back in the 80s, there was the notorious culture that was around football, that the fighting and all of that stuff that went on about the firms and all that stuff. And the joke would be, so if you wanted to make a joke about getting beaten up at a football match,
Mm-hmm.
Millwall would be the punchline, because
Okay.
like literally they were like the bellwether for hooligan club.
Got
And
you.
Chelsea versus Millwall was literally a war zone. Because before
Yeah.
Chelsea got like, Chelsea's from a really posh part of London, obviously Chelsea,
Right.
but before they got taken over, like they were a kind of a hardcore club when it came to all that.
Yeah.
Really, like they had some of the, like they still have those horrible fans, because they had proper hooligan fans back in the day in firms fighting, because they were really a terrible club. They just happened to be from a posh part of London. But Millwall fans, it was like, yeah, holy hell.
You know what's pretty crazy about this too is that Man City. I said Man City. I said the Crystal Palace. Said the Man City Luton. Because Man City Luton goes to Man City. I you know what? Maybe I should highlight that game, because I could possibly see Luton doing a crazy measure and getting some type of result there. But being under the measure that City will then have to, after that week, travel to Spurs, and then after that they travel to Forest, and after that they host Wolves, then after that they travel to Fulham, and then they have their last game of West Ham. They have a pretty decent remaining schedule of like decent opponents to have to go through. So
there's some banana skins in there as well. Like we've won basically the fixture lottery, but we've lost the injury lottery. Like we basically got all of our away games done and dusted, our big ones, apart from what was it, Villa, But now we're getting hit by injuries. Whereas City have to play a few of the bigger teams away, a few of the trickier teams away. So, I can't look at their fixture list and go, "Oh, win, 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 win." Especially not after some of the performances they've dropped. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much for it to become 7 points.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
We need people back.
But we can't take, even if it does become 7 points, I don't want to necessarily take the foot off the throttle, because they could easily make up that 7 points if we end up drawing here, losing here, because all of a sudden we're not putting the emphasis, or thinking that we have too much, or we have an actual, we have enough leeway or enough buffer space to make the most of it,
Yeah, I don't think we do. I think these injuries are going to kill us, to be honest. I don't want to be pessimistic, but unless Salah is back, if all they miss is Luton, if all Darwin and Salah miss is Luton and Chelsea, okay, that should be all right. But more than that, with Jota potentially out for 2 months, we need some of these guys back, man, because it's going to catch up on us pretty quick, I think. If we don't, we can't go into City without, you know what I mean. Without Salah and Darwin, we're trying to patch up a front three. It will catch up on us pretty quickly. I think we'll be okay for Luton. We should be potentially okay for Chelsea, maybe. Who knows? It's a cup final. But any more than that, I think it'll stop us gaining those points that we would have. Like if we had Jota, Darwin, Salah, Nunez fit for the running, I'd back us to score enough goals. Now I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I'm giving JK an update. I said some of this update earlier about the injuries, at least that I read. These aren't like necessarily, cut and dry, like, chiseled into stone tablet style.
This was Dominic. Those quotes were from Dominic King, the Daily Mail correspondent, Liverpool guy, and he was on a podcast.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly,
yeah. He's fairly reliable, but
it's still all somewhat speculation, still to an extent.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's completely correct.
Either. No, I wouldn't be at all surprised either. And
also Sabantlai,
he's still 50-50 there. He was mentioning that too, but he Dom is still an outside shout to be able to be a part of it, to be a part of the final or against Chelsea. That'd be huge to see him.
Yeah.
And then also the quote, or the quote that I saw was that Curtis was going to be out for a week. That's a lot better than this high ankle sprain, like out for 4 to 6 weeks. Read that some people were saying. Obviously tomorrow, I already have an episode lined up for tomorrow. It's going to be hopefully Brian could be a part of this too tomorrow, but I was going to go and like kind of give a read on we'll get a lot of these answers answered somewhat in the press conference tomorrow. So
exactly.
I won't necessarily. Who knows if if I end up hanging out tonight, maybe I'll be up for the press conference. The press conference is live at 5 a.m. in the morning, so chances are I won't be. I'll probably have to catch it at like more like 8 or 9 when I wake up. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch the press conference. I watch all the press conferences for the most part and get a good read. We'll get a good read. I'm sure the reporters will ask them the updates because he pretty much gives the updates for all the injuries. And if Klopp said he was tired before, I'm sure he's tired of having to go through all the injuries that he has to read out each and every press conference. You know, I'm sure that's pretty tedious to say the least.
Just pin it up on the wall so they can all right. They don't have to ask the same question every 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to just come out and just like, hello, here's the injury list. Now I'm open for questions. You know, and just do like that. But yeah. Dustin says, so my source, Dustin's got sources. I like that. That's what's up, Dustin. He says his sources were right. He heard medical staff said in halftime Jones wasn't serious. That's cool. It was interesting because I don't watch the game on TNT. Do you watch the game on TNT or do you watch it through another service?
Oh, it depends. No, I watch them on a legal stream, so it just depends whatever channel. It's usually
on legal. I heard you on legal streams. You said, I got you.
It's usually USA because the English ones are hard to get properly, so it usually ends up in USA.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's that other one? Yeah, the one with the orange logo. That's TNT.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually one of the American ones because they don't block those feeds.
You know what? No, I think it's I think the orange one. I want to say the orange one's beIN Sports. I want to say or something.
Oh no, it's not beIN. It's the one. It's Premier League. It's that feed. It's just called that's the orange one, and there's the USA one, and then there's the other American one. What's the other American one? That sometimes has games, but they don't seem to have them this season. ESPN maybe used to make something like that.
I mean, because Paramount doesn't have games, Premier games. They have just Champions League and Europa. At least here in America, we get our games through Paramount, which is CBS, and that's usually the games we get for Europa and Champions League. And then for our games here in America, it's through Peacock, which is NBC. And that's the only resource. But Peacock has USA. They have other networks that they split up their coverage of the games on. So sometimes you have to watch the game on USA Network, or you have to watch it on, or you have to watch it on the Peacock Network.
It's usually my feed. I'd say 90% of the time is USA.
We don't get even though TNT is an American broadcasting, because it's the Turner network, basically Ted Turner's network, his old network at least. But it is Ted Turner's the guy who created CNN. But we don't get TNT. TNT doesn't do our coverage for Premier League games, at least. TNT does an occasional national team performance, but I don't really get to see. I don't see them do that coverage for us. TNT is also like with I think Rio Ferdinand's on there, not Rio, and who else is on there? I think Rio is on there, and
they get all the old heads. They get all the proper football heads.
Yeah,
they get the Sky type guys, Rio and those guys.
Yeah.
Michael Owen is on TNT.
Yeah. They get like a lot of I think Redknapp is on TNT, I want to say, maybe.
I think so. Or Sky. Definitely was on Sky. Jamie was one of the first guys on Sky. Jamie's been there a lot longer than Neville and Carter.
Maybe it's Maybe it's Crouch then. It's on TNT. I don't. I remember that. I know Rio is definitely on TNT because I've
What
seen him on. Mhm.
the feed I was watching at the weekend was one of those really annoying ones where they have two commentators, and then every now and again they'll get like a third or a fourth guy to come on and just talk crap for a minute. And on that
Oh,
one,
okay. That
they
sounds like a
had,
lot of fun.
yeah, they had whoever the commentator was. Then it was Jermaine Genius was the co-commentator, and then they had Crouch and Joe Cole coming in and making comments for
Oh
no
wow,
reason.
that's always fun. Yeah,
Yeah, it was so annoying. And they just come in and go, "Oh, I agree with what Janet," but like Jermaine Genius, right?
that's it.
You
That's
know,
KJ's got it for you.
you know
Um,
the Mo Salah goal, right?
they've got Peter Crouch, Joe Cole, Rio, Owen, and Savage as their commentators.
Like
All a lot of old heads, like you said. Yeah, Red Nap
you
is in the
know the
sky.
Mo goal. Remember the Mo goal, right? When he was running in, he
Hmm.
was holding off the defender.
Hmm.
Um, Jermaine Genius watched 3 replays that, and he still didn't know what Brentford defender was, and he's a co-commentator. He said, "I'm not sure who it is there now." And we'd all seen 3 replays. Though. He couldn't.
Yeah, your boy is TNT too. Your boy,
Yeah, he's
that,
so bad. He
yeah.
does like Jermaine Genius does light entertainment shows in England.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't just do football stuff. He does like those couch shows where you have like two hosts that sit on
Oh yeah,
couches.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like your
he does it.
what's the oh wow. I watched one of the shows too, and I can't remember what it is. It's
It's called the One Show. It's like 6 o'clock in the evening. It's like totally like it's the most like watered down like light entertainment stuff. There's no there's no big. It's just
okay.
bizarre TV. It's like he wants to be a TV presenter, not a football
Okay.
guy. Yeah, he's so bad, man.
Oh, do you mean it's like one of the it's set up similar to the way they do like
Regis and Kathy Lee. You know Regis and Kathy Lee?
oh yeah, sure, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like that. Oh
when they
wow.
sit on
Oh,
the couch in the
okay.
morning and they interview people that come on, but it's morning TV. Like it's
Yeah, like Good
daytime.
Morning America or Regis and
Yeah,
Kathy Lee or
it's
yeah.
later than that, but it's like daytime. It's not edgy nighttime couch. It's real like and it's stories about rescue puppies and it's just people coming on plugging their TV shows. So Janice is just this kind of BBC guy now, but they're priming him.
Is it like Graham Norton?
Oh, it's nowhere near. No, it's literally like things that your granny watches it because it's safe
Oh,
and it's
okay.
no.
Okay. Got you.
Like it's on at 6 o'clock in the evening. It's tea time TV. It's
Okay.
no swearing. It's all like it's basically
Oh, no
daytime.
swearing, no off kilter
No,
off or off yeah.
no.
No bad no like risque topics, no crazy
No.
stories. I
Like
got you.
the idea is he's been groomed to take over from Gary Lineker at Match of the Day because he's
Uh-huh.
a BBC, he's a company man. He's just
Uh-huh.
so bad. He really is. He shouldn't be commentating on games. You know, it's
Okay.
really, it's just poor. Like, but these guys, they get all the media jobs and they all work on different channels, and it's like, oh man, you should watch Irish TV. They don't hold back because they know
I'll
nobody in
have
England watches it.
to.
Yeah, or you get
I'll
all
have
English
to.
players. Yeah, we get loads of English
Right.
players to come over and do media
Right.
in Ireland for Champions League games and stuff, and they just go
Mhm.
full board and flag people off because they know no one in England watches. It's the opposite of Sky Sports. Like they don't completely lose their minds, but they speak way more open. That's why Didi Hamann gets a lot of criticism for hating Klopp because a lot of those quotes and those things that he said about Klopp, he's actually said on Irish TV because he's
On
a
Irish
host of the
TV.
Champions League.
I got you.
Because he does Champions League games when Ireland
Uh-huh.
are playing. He does,
Uh-huh.
or when Liverpool are playing, he does Champions League games.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, they'll speak way more openly on Irish TV than they will on English.
Oh.
And you can see every now and again someone who's on English TV will come over and you can see how they're like looking around and go, wow, we can actually talk like this. Okay.
Mm.
Because over there they have to be, oh, don't say anything, that's going to upset the wrong people or whatever, and they always just talk up on it. But over here, like I'm saying, it's not crazy like it is in some countries, but you get Premier League players that will come over, or former Premier League players that will come over, and you can see how it's just like they're actually being honest for one, as opposed to all the Sky Sports stuff, which is, yeah, I'd rather watch it on a foreign channel.
So McManaman has given, he does sometimes show up on our broadcasts in America on NBC, but I don't know if I don't know if he does games for NBC officially or not. And because sometimes Sky and NBC do like joint broadcasts in a sense, like they do like
Yes,
appearances.
they do. They do.
People do like they'll show clips or they'll have appearances by different commentators from different networks. But KJ is asking, is it just him who can't stand McManaman's commentating on all our European games? He loved him as a player, but please keep him and Owen from commentating. He can't stand them. McManaman is pretty harsh against us. You sometimes you would not think that he played for Liverpool.
Yeah, there's that old guard, isn't there? Like, I don't mind him. I remember these guys as players, and yes, McManaman when he left, that was kind of the first. Like, Owen gets a lot of stick for going to Madrid on a free, but you know, McManaman did it before he did.
Right.
You know, and McManaman was obviously not as good as Owen, but just as highly revered. You know, if McManaman walked away from the club, maybe I don't know. I'd be interested to know why it gets viewed differently. But that was kind of this. I'm happy to prove wrong, but I think he's with it. Certainly within the English game, the Bosman rule had really only just come in. You know, and we all know the Bosman rule. You know, when basically free transfers were made legal, whereas before that, you know, once your contract was up, a club could still hold on to you.
Right.
But now this was the first time that no, my contract is up on the 31st of July. I'm a free agent. That was not a thing before. So now players had the power. McManaman was definitely one of the highest profile players in the world, the first to actually exercise that.
Yeah.
And nobody at Liverpool saw it coming. Absolutely nobody. They all thought, oh no, the kid might want to go, but he'll sign a deal or something like that. Nobody actually thought some of these players would basically stiff their club like that, because they saw it as, you know, now it's just seen as natural. Back then it was seen as a betrayal. It was like, how can you just leave like that?
Yeah.
You know, so it was, clubs had always had this inordinate power over players before. Now the players were getting it back. We see it now as the most obvious thing in the world, but back then, you know, so when McManaman left, I think it was, for me, just as big a thing as when Owen left. And Owen said it himself, his knee was, or his hamstring and his knee were pretty much done by the time he was past his peak by the time he got to Madrid. So maybe he did us a favor in the end. But McManaman, some of these guys, they see it as their job to be hypercritical and say, like the Owen with Nunez thing back there, you know, I think they kind of see that as their role. I don't know about you. Is it like, I think it's probably the same. Like Bayern are famous for it, the guys that take over. They're famous for being the most critical of anything, basically, former Bayern players. And they work for the club. You know, Dutch players, Dutch ex-players are absolutely vicious. The stuff they said about, remember the stuff they were saying about VVD last year? The shit he was getting from the likes of Van Nistelrooy and Van Basten, saying he overrates himself. He's playing, you know, who does he think he is? All this stuff. They are vicious when it comes to, you know, the teams that they used to play for. So I think maybe like McManaman probably sees it as his role to be, and I've heard him commentate a few times. I mean, he's not the worst person. There's worse out there. but again, I don't listen to him a lot. And if he is hypercritical, I think maybe it's like, I'm assuming it's the same in the NBA and the same in NFL. Like maybe not so much, but NBA. I'd imagine like the Michael Jordans or the Shaquille O'Neals would always be going, he's not good enough, or he. I'd imagine they're quite critical of, when their teams aren't good. They say no, they can get better than him. He can do better. I don't. That's just the mentality of it. Like I think McManaman's a bit like that.
I hear you. Stevie Nichols does that too.
Oh, he's a joke though, man. I've seen him now. He's turned it. I've seen him having these fake rage rants with Shaka Hislop and all this stuff. I mean, I used to like Stevie Nicol, but I don't know, man. I think he's turned himself into a bit of a clown over there. But
is that what it is? He's come to America and put on the red nose.
Oh, I think he's I think he's acting up. He wouldn't be like that. He wouldn't. He would not act like that on TV in England. No way. Absolutely. Okay. I was really surprised, and I was like, okay, this is kind of rage baiting or whatever it might be, but he's good at it. He's convincing. He obviously has him in him, but I was very disappointed to see.
He can seem like a little bit of a. I mean, knowing his age, he can seem.
He's playing a character.
He can seem like a grumpy old man at times.
But I think he's playing a character.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah, sure. I think he realizes that it makes him popular and keeps him in a job, because if you're someone like Stevie Nicol, might have been making $2,000 or $3,000 a week, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
When he was even at the height of his career, Stevie Nicol in the late 80s, maybe £4,000 or £5,000 a week would have been the most he's ever been on. Like people like him did not retire as millionaires. Mm-hmm. They need this work, and this keeps him in front of the camera. This keeps him, obviously this is his thing. It keeps him, he's entertaining and all that. So I can understand why because a lot of these guys, even modern footballers, like stat of the week, 40% of footballers who retire go bankrupt within 4 years. Stat of the week.
Well, there's though, the number is staggering for most sports, I should say, because the number for the NBA, the number for the NBA, they did a piece on ESPN I think it was called Ballers or something like that, and it was basically showing how so many of these players, and I'm talking about players that got like 70 million, 90 million, or some type of like crazy contracts like that are broke.
Yeah, it's like someone just called it up there. I'm sorry, I can't. It disappeared off my screen.
What's wrong?
But he said it's like the American content that Ramsey does.
Oh, I was just about to bring that up.
If you watch a Ramsey show in America, it's Ramsey turned up to 11. If you watch a Ramsey show that he's based in England, it's a completely different Ramsey. Normally, it's a way more chilled out version. It's the American version that he does, and this isn't a slight on American people. I'm just saying, like, it's the entertainment thing, or they want it more bombastic and they want more, drama, and he can turn it up.
Trust me. Shout out to JK. JK turned me on to it wasn't a Hell's Kitchen. It was like a Kitchen Nightmare, I think it was called, right?
Yeah, Ramsey's Kitchen Nightmares, man. That program is elite.
Oh,
it's elite.
Because there was a segment in my area or in my town here, or in Arizona, I should say, and holy crap!
Was that the cupcake?
That episode was wild. I was like, having owned a restaurant in my life, like, oh my goodness, man! I was like, there's no way I could deal with that kind of like craziness, and it wasn't even from him. It was from the restaurant owner that he was dealing with.
Was that the girl? Was that the woman, the crazy cupcake lady? Was that her?
Yes. Yeah.
That episode is legendary. And she's got the husband, the gray-haired husband, and she's
the cat.
That's a legendary episode. They went back again after that. That is
absolutely crazy, man. Yeah. That episode was like,
he does an English version, and that's it came from the English version. So if even you watch it, the English version is still highly dramatized. The English version is still very drama driven,
Yeah,
but it's just.
but
But
it's
when you
not
watch the
that.
American one, it's just like that one where he's got those two, they're basically mafioso guys in a restaurant in New York, and one of them wants to kill him.
Oh wow.
It's absolutely like some of it's a lot of it. Obviously, as I get later, it's edited and faked or what you know. But some of those
Oh yeah,
early
yeah,
ones,
yeah, yeah. They're scripted. There's some of it's
but
super
yeah,
scripted. Yeah.
the early one, like yeah, the meeting up bits. But some of the stuff that kicks off is real. You can't fake it. I've worked on like I'm a qualified chef. I've worked in these places. Some of it can't
Mhm.
be faked, and you
Oh
know when
yeah, yeah.
something's real. But he kind of maybe engineered it. But some of the owners, man, that's where that show was built on. Forget the problems. It's built on finding the craziest owners.
No, I
And
get it. I
obviously
get it.
going to America was a gold mine. It was the obvious choice. He found some of the biggest whack
Oh
jobs
yeah,
on the planet, man.
yeah.
Running
Even
restaurants.
even this show, because I like uh his restaurant in New York was like close to at the time. This is like years ago, but was like close to one of my ex girlfriends.
Sorry,
And
just sorry. Dustin just like Dustin's. I like the one where he yells at people with restaurants. That's
yeah,
literally the whole. That's just
every
yeah.
episode, that's like
That's
every
his
almost
whole
every
thing.
show.
Yeah. That's
Like
his
every
whole
show.
career right there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the one. Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely
I was
brilliant.
about to say because I think Dustin is possibly referencing Hell's Kitchen. Hell's
Yeah,
Kitchen
but he
is like,
summed the whole thing up in one sentence. That's just
yeah,
Gordon Ramsay's whole thing.
yeah, it's pretty spot on. Well,
But
we're at
he's
the three. Okay.
yeah. No, sorry. No, did you get to eat in his restaurant? Did you?
Oh yeah, I've eaten at a bunch
Yeah.
of restaurants. I've eaten
Yeah.
in Vegas. Actually, you know what? How long ago was it? 3 years. It was like the year. It was like the year a year into COVID when they started to like you know um lighten the restrictions and everything. And I went to Vegas, and I went to Vegas, and I went to his. I love hamburgers. For instance, I'm a big burger guy. Obviously, I'm an American, so maybe that's why or something like that. Even though hamburgers, I get it, quote unquote, were created in Germany technically, but
Well, one would assume by the name that they kind of trademarked it already a little bit. But
right,
yeah,
right, right.
I get it, man. Like, you kind of can't really beat a good burger.
You
Sorry,
can't. I
you
mean,
kind of
like
can't.
if you're a
To
steak
quote,
guy, I
to
like
quote,
steak.
Yeah, to quote
I
K
love
Mac,
steak.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry,
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
but you
Yeah.
can't beat a good burger. I'm
You
sorry.
can't really beat a good burger. You really can't. And they have they he has Gordon Ramsay has a couple of restaurants in Vegas that are pretty good. And I went to his burger place, um the Gordon Ramsay's burger place in Vegas, and it was definitely one of the best burgers I've had for sure. One of the best burgers. I obviously I went for like whatever was the was going to be like a birthday burger, but here,
So
let me see if I
what
what was
does
the
a
burger?
cheeseburger? What does a quarter pounder with cheese cost in Gordon Ramsay's burger joint?
Yeah, all right. So I will tell you. I was just about to look it up.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess, right? I'm going to guess quarter pounder with cheese, right? I'm going to guess he's going to charge you $30 for that in Vegas. That's just the burger, like none of your
um,
shenanigans. I'm guessing he's going to charge
I
$30.
think it came with, I think it does come with sides, but it might have been a la carte though. You might be right about that. It's just called his spot is called Gordon Ramsay Burger. I think he tries to make it where it's somewhat exportable. Um, Let me see real quick. I'll tell you what the menu has. I'll tell you what I had actually too, because the burger I had was really good. Um, that's not what I
I
had.
used to work with this guy in London. We worked. He used to make food for. He used to do touring bands, right? He used to
Mhm.
do like Madonna, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, the Fugees. all this
Oh
stuff.
wow.
When they come to Europe, he'd do their
Uh-huh.
catering.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, he thought he was this guy. He wasn't really that good. But I used to work with, and we ended up working in this really trendy pub in this really trendy part of London in Hoxton. And he used to make burgers, and we made them by hand. And he used to put so much. It was like, oh, tomato puree and fried onions and garlic and mustard and this and that and blah 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 blah. All of it had to go into the burger mix, to make these amazing burgers, right? Which always tasted like
Mm-hmm.
crap to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see Ramsey, like I hate, like it was the biggest waste of time ever as far as I was concerned. It used to take hours, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
watch Ramsey now, all he does, mince, garlic powder on top,
Mm-hmm.
burger. That's it. Doesn't put none of this putting onions in and garlic
Okay,
in
so
it.
I will tell you what. I'll tell you. Yeah, I don't see the burger I ordered was like one of the specialty burgers at the time. So I don't see it on the list here of like. But you're spot on. This is American, obviously not it's American dollars, not pounds or euros.
No, I said
Um,
dollars. Yeah.
you're getting a burger. So I think. Because I had another burger there too. I think I tried the stout burger. The stout burger is like a Guinness mustard
I
aioli
know exactly what that
with
is. Yeah. Yeah.
Gruyere cheese, mushrooms, and crispy onions. But it was something else. It was like called like a paradise burger or something crazy. It was like one of those specialty burgers. But he served it with fries, or you can substitute sweet potato fries, or for $1 or truffle parmesan fries. That's what I had for $3. And yeah, it's the average burger on his menu is $26.
That's not
So
too bad. $26 is
is it?
about 22
I don't know
euro.
about that, man. That's kind of pricey for a
It
burger.
is. It's pricey for a burger, but it's pretty much what I would expect to pay if I walked into Gordon Ramsay Burger. I'm
Yeah,
not a,
you're paying for the real estate that you're walking into more
but no, I
so.
bet you that's a good burger.
Yeah.
It's a good burger. It ain't no processed crap. It's all
Oh yeah, no.
like, and look, basically, you've owned a restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the rule of three, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know the rule of three. Basically, there's you need to be able to make 3 times what it costs you to make a
Right.
meal. It costs
Right.
you $1 to make a risotto, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that risotto costs you $1 to make, you have to sell it for three. If you can't sell it for three, your restaurant will fail. You have to make the rule of three off all your food. So he's making that for about $8, $9 at worst. You know what I mean? And he's
Mm-hmm.
showing a bit of a markup on it. Like what do you expect
No, I
from
get
that?
it. I get it.
You
Look,
know, you can't, yeah.
he has a
But then
farmhouse burger. He has a
I
farmhouse
could
burger
walk into I could walk into KFC right now and get a shit chicken snack box with some piece and pay 22 quid for it.
Mhm.
Easy. Like KFC, or you can pay 20, get a Coke, get some chips, get a couple of pieces of chicken, easily 16, 17 quid. And that's nearly $20. So $26 for a Gordon Ramsay burger in Vegas. Yeah, I think he's cutting it probably pretty close there.
He's kind of probably pretty close. I think you're paying the thing about his burger place it's his place is one, it's in a casino. Two, he's paying top dollar for being in a casino, so that price is
Yeah.
getting
Well,
elevated for the sheer fact that he's,
come on, man.
yeah.
If you're selling anybody to people who are already in a casino, look, let's face it, they're already in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
They're already in a casino. You could probably charge them whatever the hell you want. If you're talking about like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah, I think I was thinking 30 quid, like, but 50. You start throwing a few bits and pieces here and there. It's $50 for a burger,
Mhm.
but I don't mind paying for good. I like good normal food. I could eat whatever wherever, but like I'd rather have a brilliant burger than well, not a 5 course tasting menu. But rather than something silly, I'd love this really good burger and really good fries, as you say. Can't really beat
Mhm.
that.
No, you
You
can't.
know,
It's easy. It's
you know,
quick. It's like, yeah.
or a steak. If you want to have a steak with your fries, that's as well. Like you don't need to go crazy overboard.
No, you
You
don't.
know.
You don't. You don't.
But I've
That's
seen
right.
like in London, I went to Marco Pierre White. You know Marco Pierre White. He's
No, I was gonna say he doesn't serve burgers though. But I was gonna say if you want like a good steak Peter Luger is like probably the spot I would say for steaks. But I don't think they serve burgers as Peter Luger. But go ahead. Go ahead.
no, you've never heard of Marco Pierre White.
Not off the top of my head. No,
Yeah, he's like
I
the
probably have.
original.
I'm sometimes not the best with
Oh, you'd
names,
know
but
him if you saw him. He's very distinctive looking, so you'll have definitely seen him. But he's the
okay.
original one. He mentored Ramsey. Ramsey worked in his restaurant. So
Mm-hmm.
Marco Pierre White is basically the inventor of the new era of the rock and roll celebrity chef who's crazy. The kind of
Okay.
Keith Moon, kind of Led Zeppelin, the Who, crazy uh, kitchen life kind of thing. He's kind of
Mm-hmm.
invented that new version of that because
Mm-hmm.
he's the original guy they made films about or shorts about where he's screaming at being hypercritical. I mean, having incredibly high standards and screaming at people. He kind of invented that macho culture. It's always
Mm-hmm.
been there, but Marco Pierre White basically invented that persona, and Gordon Ramsay took it on from him. But Ramsay, like, basically, all those people that have been like Marcus Ware and the Michelin star chefs, they all came up through Marco Pierre White, worked under him
Okay.
at some point.
Okay.
So he's the original kind of Keith Richards of this scene. But he's got a lot of shows over here, but he's mellowed out a lot now. But yeah, he kind of invented that whole thing. But he did that in London, where he
Mm-hmm.
basically opened up steak by Marco Pierre White. So it was like instead of burger, it was like steak. And
Oh,
so it was
okay.
just the rest. Yeah, he'd opened up like I don't know. I remember being in one of them. It was just off freaking Liverpool Street, somewhere like that, by the train station, and it was basically just steak and chips, but like for
Okay.
50 quid. And it was kind of amazing, but it was still just steak and chips. But it was like it's central London, across the road from where all the finance bros got on and off the tube. The main Liverpool Street was the main station there. So yeah, you could have charged whatever the hell you want, but you're going in there and go, oh, fillet steak this or that, 80, 100 quid. Still just steak and chips. They all tried that kind of franchisey thing, try and
Mm-hmm.
make money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Marco Pierre White had probably spent about 4.5 minutes in that restaurant in his entire life. But his name is over the door and all that whole thing.
His name is over the door. Right. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I do know who Marco Pierre White is, by the way. I do.
Yeah, when you see him, you know him.
I do.
He's straight, he's very recognizable. So
Yeah.
he's like,
When
yeah,
you see when I see his face, I know you're talking about. Yeah. I
yeah,
definitely do. Yeah.
really angry dude back in the day, which was kind of
Right.
unfortunate for me because I grew up under the generation of people that kind of idolized him, and
Mm-hmm.
they thought that then became this abiding idea that the only way to run a kitchen was to be a massive arsehole and to be
Mm-hmm.
uber macho and belittle people and scream at people, and that was how the best chefs did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that has only kind of started to recede a little bit now. Like, all my
No, yeah.
loads of my friends are still head chefs and running hotels and stuff,
Some
but
like
all
your
of that 90s stuff,
Mario
man.
Battelli. Mario Battelli
Yeah,
is more of that a nicer, I guess, impression.
yeah,
I guess you know who
yeah.
Mario Battelli is, right?
Yeah, that
Batali.
whole culture
Yeah.
was just that was the only way to run a kitchen. You had to be a massive arsehole and shout and
Mhm.
scream at everybody because they all just watched Ramsey and Marco Pierre White. And that was toxic masculinity at its worst that crept into that. And I blame the two of them because it's not like that at all. No need for it. But
Mhm.
yeah, I've seen a lot of people get broken by it, and it's not a nice industry.
Yeah, no, I do know who you're talking about. Trying to think, there's another. I am a foodie, but like sometimes names go blank on my. Sometimes the names go blank on in my head of like who I'm trying to reference. Because there's a guy that you would probably like. Because the chef for one of the restaurants, or one of the chefs for one of the restaurants that I was a part of, actually two of the chefs are celebrity chefs now. They weren't celebrity chefs when we started the restaurant, but they become celebrity chefs in like whereas and they do shows of like Guy Fieri. You ever heard of him? I'm sure.
I know who he is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And like they do that kind of like you'll see them on the Food Network, and they'll be like a judge or something like that kind of like level.
Yeah, food TV over the last 20 years has just like over here. There used to be like two shows,
Mhm,
and then overnight you had basically an entire channel just for food shows.
mhm,
Celebrity chefs were like, "Oh, it's the new rock and roll," because rock and roll is dead. There's no new guitar bands for the last 20 years. So
mhm,
comedy in the 90s, comedy became the new rock and roll. That was a phrase in England I don't heard of, but yeah, comedy. All the alternative comedians was the new rock and roll, and then no more bands still came out. Like so, dance music, electronic, and all that was taken over. So there was celebrity hardcore chefs was the new rock and roll. Food was the new rock and roll.
mhm.
The likes of
Right.
Jamie Oliver became these because they needed these hardcore heroes. And yeah, Ramsey, man, he realized, but he used to play football professionally.
Oh, I bet he
Well,
did.
yeah, for Rangers, for Glasgow Rangers, he used to play for
I
them.
want to. It was. I'm trying to think of the
Not
burgers. What was the
properly,
name? It was something like I
yeah.
think it was called like the burger. I
Like
think
he
I
never
had was
played
something
in
like
the league,
no.
but no, he was like, yeah, he started off wanting to be a professional footballer.
I'm trying to think of what the burger was. It was like a Paradise Burger or something. It was like
I like the
Celebration Burger, maybe. I don't know if it was
Parmesan and
Celebration.
truffle chips.
The
I like
Celebration
it.
Burger has a portobello mushroom, so I don't think it was that one. I don't think I had a portobello mushroom. It was like, I think it was this. I think it was a truffle burger, and it was like it has truffle tremor, cheese, bacon, truffle butter, frisee, frisee. That's how I said it, frisee,
Oh, the lettuce frizzy, yeah, the lettuce
and
frizzy.
then had pickled shallots, fried egg, and truffle aioli. I think that's the burger I had. It was bomb. It was
Yeah.
a really good burger. Um,
The bacon and egg burger, which that's very a fancy version. The bacon and egg burger is the king of food.
oh no, yeah, no, that I love burgers like that. Absolutely love burgers
Like
like that. There's a
sometimes you
burger.
can put too much into it. You need to get it right in the middle. I don't like mushrooms in a burger. I will say that.
Mhm, mhm,
And I've never had truffle on a burger, but I like
mhm.
the idea of the parmesan and truffle fries. That sounds really nice.
Yo, yeah, it was really good. You'd like the stout burger is really good because it has the Guinness mustard aioli, which is really really tasty. But like there
Yeah,
was another burger on there. I know I'm getting myself hungry. I haven't eaten my lunch yet, so but there was a burger on there. I'm trying to think of it's called the Dubliner too, by the way. I'm trying to think of what was on that one. Or no, it wasn't Dubliner, it was the farmhouse burger, but it comes with Dubliner cheese, bacon, and a
oh
fried egg.
yeah, Dubliner cheese is. Oh man, that's that's not a real thing. That's just a new cheese that came out like 20 years ago and pretends to be like the cheese of Ireland. Not at all.
It's not
Dublin
at
is
all.
no,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Dublin is a new kid on the block, man. Just came along. Oh, we're the
Okay.
proper cheese, yeah. Because no, forget
Well, how
that, man.
about would you eat this burger? They have a burger at So the restaurant, the menu changes slightly from different. There's a couple different. There's like 5 Gordon Ramsays in America, at least Gordon Ramsay burgers, and then it changes a little bit. But there's in the Vegas one, they have a burger that's called the Euro Burger, and the Euro Burger is goat cheese, truffle aioli, roasted tomato, and arugula.
And a what?
And arugula.
And a hugula?
Stop.
Oh, and a what? What's an arugula?
Arugula. You know what arugula is, right?
No, I've never heard that word before in my life.
Arugula is like a I'll spell it out for you here. This is what it is. Arugula is like a it's like a lettuce.
Oh.
I'm gonna say it's like a lettuce.
Oh, okay.
Like
right.
It's
That's
like
literally the first time I've ever seen that word. Arugula.
Yeah. Arugula, it could be called arugula roquette, I guess, or something, but arugula is a peppery, spicy, and slightly tart leafy green that is often used in Italian cuisines.
It sounds like rocket. Sounds like rocket. You know, rockets. But yeah.
Arugula is big. In America, arugula is kind of big. Maybe he's using it because it's big in America, but I don't know why you would. If it's big in America, but yet you're calling it a euro. I thought that maybe it was big in Europe, considering.
Yeah, you have different names for stuff. Sometimes.
Okay.
Like we call coriander. You call it cilantro. We have aubergine. You call it eggplant. We have the other things, and you call them.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. By the way, so I just Googled it. Said what is arugula called in Ireland? It's called. It says rocket, known as rocket in many English.
Rocket. Yeah, I knew it sounded. I'm good, man. I'm good. I haven't lost it. That sounded like rocket. That is rocket. Yeah, it's rocket. Yeah.
Yeah. It says UK, Australia, and Ireland, for example, arugula is also frequently referred to on restaurant menus and stores as rucola or rugola, which is Rucola, the Italian name, or Rugola. But yes, you're right. Rocket is what they call it. I've never heard it called rocket. I didn't know it was called rocket.
You know, you have zucchinis.
Yes. Yeah.
We call them courgette, right? You know, you have eggplant.
Yes.
We call that aubergine.
Okay.
And you have cilantro.
Mm-hmm.
We call that coriander.
Oh well, I've heard coriander too. I've heard that. Too. Yeah. I've heard that.
Yeah. So there are a few foods, not many, but there are a few things that for some reason you call them something different. But I suppose zucchini is what the Italians call courgette. We use the French term for it. So zucchini, I imagine, is probably the Italian word for it. But I don't know where eggplant comes from. I don't know why you call aubergines eggplants. They don't look. They're purple. They're not egg-shaped.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know why you call them eggplants. They don't go from egg. Yeah, so, yeah, okay. Fine, if you want. I think that's right. Yeah, what does that look like over there? What do we call that? Well, it's purple. It's not at all egg-shaped. Shall we call it eggplant? Makes perfect sense to me.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd love to know where that conversation came from.
I don't know. I'm looking at Gordon's spots. I've eaten at a good bit of his spots actually. I've eaten at Gordon Ramsay's Burger. I've eaten at Hell's Kitchen. I've eaten at Gordon Ramsay Steak, which is really, really good too. I haven't tried his Pub and Grill. And he's got another place. He's got a fish and chip spot here in America, and he's got a Lucky Cat. I think.
Do people like that there? Do people like fish and chips there? Is it a novelty? Do they get it? Do they understand? Like,
there's a place in Phoenix, and they're like it's not that far away from me too. That is it's specifically a fish and chips spot. It's called Pete's Fish and Chips, I think, or something. I don't think fish and chips is really, really that big here in America. There are places that serve it. Obviously, we have a lot of English pubs and such.
But do you get
like the boozer I go to, for instance, that's one of the like more frequently ordered menus or more frequently ordered entrees on the menu is the fish and chips, and their fish and chips at right, it's right here actually. Whoops, let me just make sure I get it. This place right here, Crown Public House in it's really really good. They serve really big like fillets of fish. It's like heavily breaded. It looks good, at least. A big filling sample for sure. Deep fried style fish and stuff. Definitely a big sample, but yeah.
It's basically Friday night food here.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I know.
No,
Yeah.
like before in Ireland, before, say, like in the 80s, early 90s, the first Chinese restaurants arrived, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, there would have been a few of them, but the only real takeaway food was fish and chips. So here
Oh, okay.
you got a huge. Everyone went on Friday night and got fish and chips, but it's in
No one
batter.
does. Yeah, there's no fish. There's no late night fish and chips spot here. It's like
Yeah.
it depends on what part of the country you're in, and this is all.
Well, you get filet o fish.
We
The
should
concept,
do a episode about like food, kind of cool foods or something. That
but the concept is there. Like you can go to a McDonald's and you can get a filet o fish and fries, right?
Yeah.
So the
Or take
concept
it
isn't
for you.
completely. Yeah, you can go and like so American. They do understand the idea of having fish and
Mm-hmm.
chips. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not totally alien. But yeah, when you
No,
come
it's
over
not.
here, like if you got fish and chips, you get a battered piece of cod. It's an entire fish.
Fish fillet. Fish fillet is a pop
Yeah.
that the McDonald's
No,
has fish fillet.
over here, it's a proper fish. It's a fish
Right.
that's been battered. It's the whole fish. Like if I get a fish and chips from my place down the road,
Mm-hmm.
the fish will probably be about 10 inches long,
Oh wow. Okay. No.
battered in one piece. Right? That's a
Oh,
whole
okay.
piece of fish battered, and then just chips, and then just salt, vinegar. No, that's fish and chips. That's
I
all
like
you
the
get.
salt and vinegar. That I
Yeah,
can deal with.
but it's a
Not that's an
massive big
acquired
piece of
taste
fish.
for some Americans, but it depends again on what part of the country you're from. For instance, I'm from the East Coast, and there's a thing called boardwalk fries. So you know how you have boardwalks in England and I'm sure in Ireland, right?
Well, no, we
Um,
don't. But I know what a boardwalk is. I
okay,
wasn't born on the moon.
okay, I know. I get. Hey, some of these
They
references
call
are
they
we're
call
we're
them piers.
broadcasting all over the world, so
In
obviously
England, they call them piers.
peers.
They're the
Okay.
things, yeah. When the things they jut out into the ocean and they have all the stuff up. Yeah, in England they call them piers.
Oh, okay. So boardwalk
KJS
is
seven,
the
KJS
boardwalk
seven.
are the board like as in boardwalks are like it's basically like a sidewalk, like but it's like a large sidewalk that goes by all of it's like separates the beach from the casinos or the restaurants or whatever it's on the other side. And then there's piers that jut out from the
Oh yeah,
boardwalk.
the boardwalk. Yeah, sorry, I know what the boardwalk. Yeah, sorry,
Right.
actually, yeah, I know what you mean. It's the bit along the. Yeah, I get you.
Right.
Can
Like
I just answer KJS's question? That
yeah.
would cost, depending on fish prices, that would probably cost around €11 for fish and chips. So that would be £9
Hmm.
or €11. I don't $12, $15.
Oh,
But
okay.
for yeah, that's what.
For that large piece of fish.
Yeah, fish and chips. Yeah, and that'd be cod, and cod is very expensive. So, but
Hmm.
you actually it's so mad. They actually have a sign on the window,
Hmm.
saying fish prices will fluctuate due to auction costs.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what that's like. You
It's
go to market
difficult.
one day to buy beef, and it's you know $10 a kilo, and you go back the next week, and it's $20 a kilo. You're like, what the
Yeah,
hell happened?
market price. Yeah.
You got to pass that price on to your customers straight away. You can't eat it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how the
I
food
have no
market.
issue with that. I
Yeah,
get market value and everything else.
yeah.
I also know though for myself, I don't normally being that I'm again from the East Coast originally, I don't normally order or buy fish if I'm in a state that's a landlocked state.
Oh hell
So
no.
if I'm in like, hypothetically, if I was in Oklahoma or something, or I was, or something like that, I'm not or Arizona. Arizona's a landlocked state.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
don't
ordering the
really,
fresh cod
right, exactly.
in Kansas.
Some
Yeah,
places, yes. Some places you can trust that it's fresh because there's fish that's flown into um, daily flown into Arizona and
yeah.
distributed. That's
But
one thing.
even fish, that's the thing though. Like fish is just as soon as it's caught, it's that's it. Fish does not stay. Like so, even the freshest,
Right, right,
even then you're asking like this is at least a day old. Like yeah,
right,
it's
right.
impossible to like. It is hard. Like yeah, you got to be smart if you're going somewhere like that. You're saying yeah, you're in the middle of like I don't know Missouri or something,
Yeah,
or yeah,
yeah,
whatever. And they're
yeah,
offering you
yeah.
the
A state, yeah.
fresh.
You're in South Dakota, and
Yeah,
they say, "Here, we got fresh cod," and you're like,
yeah, okay, okay, right,
"Yeah,
yeah,
yeah." And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I don't know about
okay,
that.
yeah. It's where you're getting them from because yeah, I mean,
Like,
let's be
like
real.
getting
Yeah.
sushi, like ordering sushi in a landlocked state. I'm kind of like, I don't know about that, but
How are
depending
you
on
with
what sushi
how
spot
are
you're
you
at.
with sushi? How are you with sushi?
Oh, I love I can definitely do sushi.
I gotta say, man, it's pretty good.
Oh, I love
It
sushi.
really is. Yeah, like we don't have an
I mean, I even like
amazing.
stuff that people. I remember like going on dates or whatever, and like I order. I like eel. I love eel actually.
Okay,
Which is an
okay,
acquired taste. Not many people like
definitely.
eel.
No, yeah, no, you're right there, man. That is an acquired taste.
I
Funky,
like
man. Funky, meaty.
I like if the sushi's deep fried like a Las Vegas roll or something like that. I like that too, but I like your common sushi dishes, your common rolls and stuff.
Because yeah, do you know what I love? And we do really well in our. And look, rice is rice. Okay, I get it. You can,
Mm.
but rice, you can do rice. Okay,
Right, right.
well,
I don't know if
what
Price is right, but okay, go
I
ahead, go
know,
ahead.
but I mean, you can get close. You know what I mean? It's not like the most complicated ingredient to recreate.
Oh,
Obviously,
I just meant the quality of rice. I didn't mean necessarily
yeah,
getting
yeah.
not cooking rice, but I meant like the
Oh,
quality of
hell
rice.
yeah, yeah.
Because
We
like
can get close to the
If you
Japanese.
get rice from Thailand, let me say this. Shout out to
Yeah.
Indian Scouser if you end up watching this, but like Thai rice is some of the best rice in the world. Like as in
Oh,
their
sticky
rice
rice.
is
That's
what's that?
sticky rice. That's sticky Thai rice. Oh,
Um,
I
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
the sticky rice is really, really good. That's like a lot of it's like you got to have a little bit of a sweet tooth to like the sticky rice too, though. Some people don't
Yeah.
really like it because it's a little bit too sweet for people. But like
Yeah. Like anything with
anything like
smoked
yeah,
salmon.
Thai rice is like bomb, bomb. I mean, obviously Japan has great rice too, but Thai rice is one of my favorite rices in the world, probably.
Yeah, it's like we have the quality of smoked salmon in
Mm-hmm.
Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of the things we have really good kind of
Mm-hmm.
farms for or whatever. But rice, smoked salmon, wasabi, I'm done. I'm good. Thank you. I'm fine. That, like
Mm-hmm.
you can't read just as a basic combination. That for me is just like yeah.
Oh,
Sushi
Sean,
was a revelation. Sushi was a big revelation for me.
you can
Absolutely.
tell one rice is not difficult. Oh yeah, dude. My advice to people that want to cook good rice: just buy a freaking rice cooker and you'll be all right. It's
You
not
know,
that difficult.
that's the thing. People in Ireland and people in different countries that didn't grow up cooking rice,
Mm,
they when they got big into food, they got
mm,
so obsessed with like this is the perfect way to cook rice. This is the perfect way to do it. This is exactly this is how everyone should, getting really
right.
snobby and snooty.
Uh-huh.
And if you go into um, basically in London, there's a lot of Caribbean people, right?
Right, right, right.
And most of their diet is based on rice. You go to
Yeah.
any Caribbean home in London, what will they have?
Oh,
A
yeah.
rice cooker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
They have
they'll be aware of all these fancy chefy ways. They're like, nah, man, bang, rice cooker.
rice
And they'll
cooker.
have
Yeah.
a rice cooker that's 30 years old because it's the one that grandmother, and it's the perfect, it's the best one.
Yeah.
We can never
My,
replace it. Yeah, they're not
yeah.
there using all these, you stand here for half an hour stirring this and that. Like, no, you put it
No.
in a rice cooker.
You put it in the rice cooker. All you
Yeah,
gotta do is
and
you
you
get a
watch all
cup.
these
You get a
TV
cup.
shows.
You get a cup of
Yeah,
rice. You put it in. You get water. You put that in, and then you push the button, and then you turn around. You do what you need to do.
yeah,
It pops open. It tells you it's done. You're done your rice. And if anything, I will say this because some of my Thai friends have put me onto this, and even my my Japanese girlfriend back in the day put me onto this. But you can even splash of a little water, put it in the microwave for a quick second or two, and that'll at least like make it a little bit eat a little bit more malleable. That's all. That's
yeah.
just.
Like, I've been
I'm
watching
talking to a
cookery
chef.
shows.
I understand,
Yeah,
but I'm just saying.
no, I've been watching cookery shows for 25 years, right?
Uh-huh.
And I have seen all the best chefs in the world from Asia and from here and there, and they all come on and they all do this. Oh, this is how you do it, and this is how you do this, and this is how you do that. All
Mm-hmm.
really like little, different ways of doing it. And you can
Mm-hmm.
see there's all these people at home tonight, you know, they're immediately trying it. Oh, this is how you cook rice the perfect Asian way. Where you
Right,
actually
right.
go to those people's houses and they're like, no, we have a machine that does it.
You know,
I've
absolutely.
never seen a rice cooker on food TV in England once in the last 25 years. Not
No,
once. But
no.
all those people that are saying we do this and do that, this is the way Granny taught me how to do it. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. But they
Yeah,
actually use those things when they go home. You go into
yeah.
any kitchen,
Randy
they don't
taught me.
have time. They've 7
Yeah,
children running around. They've got things to do. They're going to plug in a fucking machine and let that do it for
I know.
them. Yeah, and
I
not
know.
all
I
this.
know. I know.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's
We're
so
making
crazy.
everyone sorry. We're making everyone get hungry. I'm even get hungry. I might
You
go make
know,
myself some. I have some salmon. I have some really, really good salmon. Actually, I might go make myself some. I like salmon and rice. Like you know what?
yeah,
Oh, again, if you ever get the two places, I'm going to suggest to you, Brian, and to the chat as well. I know some people are American on the American side here, but if you're looking for some great fish, Seattle. Visit Seattle. Some of the best fish you will ever have is they have like the Seattle fish market is like legendary. It's the I don't know if you ever seen commercial or not commercial or footage of on maybe some of the food the restaurant or foods type things or whatever. Big up, Steven. I see you. But on some of
it's
the
not a city
food.
that gets highlighted without. No, I'm going to say that. It definitely doesn't get highlighted.
Oh no. So
Seattle has a
you go
food
to
thing.
Seattle, San Francisco is amazing too. I don't know if Trap Joe's in the chat still, but Trap Joe can back me up. Seattle has some of the best, or excuse me, San Francisco has some of the best seafood as well. But um, but Seattle is super cool. There's parts you can even look up on YouTube. At the fish market, you pick your fish and then they'll like there's like fish catchers. So they'll like throw the fish and there's like a guy that like catches the fish. It's wild, man. It's super wild. They make it like a real
Okay.
big theatrical of it. It's pretty wild and crazy how they do it. And then the other thing I was gonna say is if you want incredibly some of the best rice combos I had, probably because of the Asian influence, is if you're ever in Hawaii. Oh man, I sometimes I have dreams about
My
being in
cousin
Hawaii.
got married in Hawaii recently.
Oh
Yeah, he just
god.
never wanted to come home. He was like,
Oh
hell
god.
no.
Yeah. I think almost every morning I woke up to like a bowl of rice and like just I would eat like a bowl of rice and just like maybe like some chives on top, just a sprinkle of chives, and then have like a a fresh cut slice of pineapple. And I mean like just chopped off the
Yeah.
tree style pineapple. Oh my goodness. It was like
Oh man, look, this is such a good topic because it's place. It's about place and it's about food. Because
mm-hmm,
I can go down to the shop now and buy a Greek salad.
mm-hmm.
They're really popular. Greek salad's really popular. I spent 2 weeks on a Greek island,
Oh
and that
wow.
Greek
Wow.
that Greek salad that I had, that Greek salad, which is exactly the same ingredients as you get here, was just amazing.
Wow.
Honestly, the tomatoes were amazing. Yeah, do you know what I mean? The
Mm-hmm.
place, it's like there's a reason it's from that place.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something invent. It's just when you have it there, when you have it with some other food, it was just like I will never eat Greek. Greek salad is simple. It's just feta and tomato and lettuce. But there, it just tasted amazing.
Yeah, it's something
Yeah,
about that. I don't know what it
yeah,
is, but
it is. It's crazy. It's just because it was there. It's like, well, again, like if you've never, like, if you buy tomatoes or tomatoes in Ireland, England, you've never tasted them. You haven't until you
mhm.
go to the Mediterranean. People say, oh, they're just, no, they actually, it's like a completely different food.
No, I get
And
you.
it's
I
that
get you.
tiny,
If
yeah,
you want,
tiny little thing.
if you want good Mediterranean food here in America, go to Astoria, which is it's Queens basically. Astoria, Queens is like it's the same
Oh,
thing.
that's Robert De
It's like
Niro
it's a
country, isn't it?
borough. Like there's like the five boroughs of New York, and like
Yeah.
Queens is one of the boroughs. It's where like the New York Mets play there. Trying to think of what
I
else.
know
Like
Astoria is, when you say that, I think that's where Robert De Niro was buying up a lot of stuff, wasn't he? When like the kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
gentrification thing was Astoria was, oh, that's where De Niro lives. He lives in Astoria.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so prices, yeah, like
Oh
that.
man, now you're gonna make me have to think of what the name. What's his name of his restaurant? I've eaten at Bobby De Niro's restaurant. I think what the heck's the name of it? It was a
Oh,
long time ago.
yeah. He had one of those. Yeah, that's right. Because he was kind of leading like one of those things, right? Basically, someone said, you know, Bob, this is a kind of expensive place now, and it's going to be the new
Hmm.
gentrified area of New York. But if you
Yeah,
were to
yeah,
move, you would hyper
yeah.
kind of, grow this. So why don't you move there and probably buy a load of freaking property around it?
Hmm.
So it's like, because I know that's the way New York is going now. It's just gentrification after gentrification after gentrification. So all the old areas are just turned into cool areas now.
It's in
No,
it's in Tribeca. Tribeca's like
Tribeca, Tribeca.
Tribeca
That's
is
the
like
one.
I think it's simple too. I think his restaurant's called Tribeca Grill, but it's like
Yeah,
it's in
Tribeca. He's in
Tribeca, which
Queens.
is like notorious or not notorious, but it's famous because of there's a Tribeca Film Festival there.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Um,
Tribeca, not Astoria. Yeah, it was Tribeca.
yeah,
Tribeca. I know.
yeah.
And a Jay-Z references in the New York. You know the
Oh
thing
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. In the New York
yeah.
song that yeah,
It's like I'm down in Tribeca where Nero Ash, I think is the line. It's something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, there's yeah, yeah, yeah,
because he's like referencing it in a rap about New York, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm in Tribeca. That's where De Niro's at." It's like
yeah. No, it
that's
was
a
one of those things.
yeah,
It was
it's a
one of those
name
things where
drop.
like
Yeah.
I don't like. It was one of those things where I
Imagine
was
being De Niro and hearing that. It's like, okay, like I'm a reference in the Jay Z rap. Okay,
okay.
he's probably
I
like
like it. I like it.
75 when that happened, and
Yeah.
you're still cool enough to be a reference in a Jay Z rap for
Oh,
down in
absolutely.
Rebecca where De Niro. It's like, okay, he's okay, nice.
Robert De
As if De
Niro is
Niro needed to be any cooler, man. As if he needed to
no,
be any
Bobby is
cooler.
cool. Yeah, Bobby would definitely be an interesting dinner guest to say the least.
Yeah, difficult apparently, but
Oh
uh,
yeah, not an easy,
yeah,
because I mean, a man of his stature and and the directions that he's going with his life and and everything else and all the movies and obviously, yeah, it's a different story. But
he's one of
Rebecca
those
Grill,
people. If
oh,
you interview him,
so
if you get the first question wrong, you're going to mess it up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I'm trying to think where it is too. I think it's in Tribeca, but it's on a spot that there's like it's not the 5 points, but it's like it's on I'm trying to think of where it is. I want to say Greenwich. I think it's on Greenwich Street, but if you ever get a chance, definitely try to book a spot there. It's really good. It's really good food actually. But this is years ago that I went. Super like I'm talking about like 20 years ago or something that I went. So, places change, things happen. Yeah, I know. Redbird's saying, Stephen, the Brian and 12th Man food and travel show. I know. Let's end this. We're almost coming up to 4 hours. Already pushed. I was going to end it at 3. We already talked about food for the last 45 minutes. Started reminiscing about burgers and oh man, and good rice and everything else. And now I'm gonna go work on. I'm gonna work on my. I guess it's gonna be like a late lunch for me. But early dinner, late lunch, however you want to reference it. But I appreciate everyone that stuck through the episode here. That even though we weren't talking about football, we still,
Who cares about football when there's steaks and burgers?
Steaks and burgers, man. That's me. That is all me. I love my steaks and burgers. And hey, and you know what? And we're talking to a renowned chef. Brian's a renowned chef, so so you're talking about
in my own house. In my own house, I'm renowned. Yeah.
Yeah. I like to cook myself. I like to do some chefing on my own because I like to make dishes with what I want them to be made with. You know what I mean? Like, as in, you're just talking about burgers. Like, I'll make some crazy concoctions. There's like this. Oh man, there's like this. I do this like sweet and spicy burger. I mean, I like sweet and spicy. That's again an acquired taste. But I mean, like, some of the stuff on the sweet and spicy burger that I do, I use arugula, by the way, but like, guys, and I mean, it's got honey on it. It's got like this like what do you call it? It's like heat. It's like something heat, right? You know what I'm talking about? What is it called? It's like a way to like make it like, it's not Tabasco sauce, but it gives you that kind of heat that a Tabasco sauce would give you. I forget what it's called now. I'm gonna go blank on the name. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out for our next food and travel show.
Yeah, I'm blanking too because I would have said Tabasco. You mean
yeah.
Okay, there's a different. Okay,
it's like an actual like it's not Tabasco, but it's like a.
Sriracha. Is Sriracha?
No. But Sriracha's good. Sriracha's good. It's like condensed heat or something. I forget what it's called. I have to remember. It's like kind of something that you can like. It's like it gives it that heat. It gives it that like spice, that fire kind of like taste. But I'm not super into spicy. But if you mix in a little sweet, then that's a different story. But
it sounds like an American kind of version, some high-powered version of Tabasco, Texas Kill 'em chili sauce kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like you guys love your chili sauce. Your hot sauces.
Yeah. I'm not into hot sauce, but I get you.
Yes. Really, yeah, it sounds like something like that, I suppose.
Yes, they do. They do love our sauces and the heats and all the such. Next episode will be home and garden special. Steven says, I got you. All right, guys. You don't have to listen to me talk about. I know you guys don't have to listen to talk about. I'm not trying to make everyone get hungry, and you don't have to listen to me talk about food that I like to eat anymore. But big up. Brian, thank you for joining me today. I hope that hopefully you'll be able to join me tomorrow. If not, I understand.
Do you need me to hang back in the back office? Do you want me to hang back in the back office? Or
for sure. Yeah, because
I
wanted to tell you about the some of the updates for some of the stuff that we have. But yeah, thank you everyone in the chat for joining us. If in the comments, if you guys have like in the comments, how about this? Before I lose everyone, is there a meal that you like to have while watching the Reds play? Is there a particular meal that you like to eat that kind of is a comfort food for you that allows for you to enjoy the game a little bit more? If you can in the comments, please tell me what that is to end off our food segment of the review of the Liverpool Brentford review and rating show here. But big up to KJ, big up to Redbird, Steven, Marion was in the house, JK was in the house, KJ and JK were both in the house, Dustin, Drunk Vigo, Oh man, a lot of different names all popped in to say it was good. Rasta Crab was here. Trap Joe was in here. Dustin, lot of good people. Like you guys don't understand how much. Revenite was here.
LFC Aaron was here.
Oh, Elsie Aaron for sure. Yeah, definitely. Daz Reynolds was in the house. Yeah, big up to everyone that joined me.
Hey, Steven.
What's
The
up?
man has, the man has his style, man. The man has his style.
What was he making fun of me? Making fun of something I like to eat? Let me see.
No, he's saying you take forever to log off.
I know. I got you.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's more so I just like the company, I guess. But all the same, big up to Realism Jared as well. Hey, everyone, hope to see you tomorrow. Should be another fun episode. And as always, yeah, take care of yourselves. Continue to take care of your loved ones. And yeah, until tomorrow. If it's a 7 o'clock hour in the UK, please do look to find the Liverpool 12th man. So we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care.